special thing. Anyway, all right, Ben, thanks for getting us going. Episode 19 of the Aging Arborist podcast. It's hard to believe every time we meet another month, we think to ourselves, it felt like a week ago. So this month we are joined by a friend and colleague, Rob Thigpen. Super excited to have Rob. Rob is a dad. Rob is a contract climber, right? You're still contracting. Yep. Rob is an instructor, teacher, trainer with NATS.
NATS, North American Training Solutions.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rob is also an instructor at Crane Safety Climber School. And how long have you been doing that? You been there since the beginning? Or
I think I missed the first one. So I think after the first one, everyone since. Awesome. I might have missed one other one. I probably was away in California or something like that. But
awesome.
So I think I missed two.
That's cool. Yeah. Rob also had a competitive climbing career. How long did you compete?
Oh, geez.
Long time?
25 something years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Long time. Yeah.
Wow.
The last one was 2012, I think.
Cool.
That was the last one.
Awesome. Yeah. So, among other things, we're going to touch on all that, but we're super grateful you're here. I didn't realize your drive was 2 hours today.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So, Brick and Rob both drove 2 hours to get here. I fell out of bed, so I feel a little guilty.
Don't feel guilty.
It's such a horrible commute coming out of my driveway to get here.
Yeah, right.
It's
still shorter than the Mid-Atlantic guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, Inman and Earhart. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, we're so grateful that people are willing to travel down.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna put a shout out here. I want to get Chris Gerard to come down.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a heck of a drive from From
I
New
actually
Hampshire.
just got a hold of him the other day. Somebody reached out to me in Maine about a rope company they want to try to get together, get going again, that his grandfather had.
Oh.
And I was like, I got a perfect guy for you, man. Awesome. I called Chris up. I'm like, Chris, are you interested? He goes, absolutely. So it'd be interesting to see how that turns out.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Chris is one of those guys that for a lot of people flies under the radar. Some guys are just unassuming, like they move through a crowd. You don't necessarily notice them, but the dude is, he's been around. He loves the history. And it's the second episode that I've kind of given him a shout out, but for good reason.
Yeah.
Right. So, hey, thanks for being here. Brick, I don't know if you want to add anything to the intro this morning and
absolutely
welcome our guest.
But just again, this is I'll make it very personal, but for the listeners, obviously you're noticing common theme with the people that are coming on. We're just going through the inner circle, so to speak, just because it really comes down to people that can make the trip to come in. But you've been a staple in my experience into the tree industry, competitive scene. You've been a staple in that as well. Mad love and respect for you for that. But you've always been like you have a reputation that you're one of those guys that's in it as a tree worker, but as a competitive climber too. But you also have like this awesome heart and soul that comes with it. So we got Jake Riggs, I told you, he's my mentor, right?
Yeah.
Just blunt, straightforward, still with love.
Sure.
But you have a more, I guess it'd be a more compassionate energy to the same thing. Just making it pointed to make sure the person gets the message. And you've done that.
And that always hasn't been that way, but so I learn over the years.
Yeah, and that's good. Yeah. And that's what's cool about we talked about this. It's cool having the guests on these episodes. We kind of know each other. And there's some depth to how we know each other, but this always deepens the connection.
Yeah.
So sure. I'm sure I'm gonna learn a lot about you during this episode. But I always like to start that off. Like we talk about being a dad, being a contract climber. We're gonna learn about your history, but I just want listeners to know that I hate, for lack of a better way of saying it, there's good people and there's bad people in the world, and you're definitely one of the good people. So nice. I really appreciate your existence in my life. For sure. And for the listeners, you guys are definitely in for a treat. For sure.
Yeah. No,
I appreciate you saying that, Brick.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. And I'll just echo that. We were talking before we started recording about Rob doing some contract work for us over the years and coming in and working with my daughter. And it's an interesting thing to have one of your kids, let alone a daughter, work with a person out on a crew and do hard things. And they always spoke highly of Rob, and that's something we were sharing before we recorded. But that was one of those things that helped deepen that relationship, you know. As a family of arborists, when we would come home at the end of a day, there were often these sessions where we just unpack the day. Hey, what happened? Was the client happy? Anything go wrong? This or that. And, you know, anytime Rob was in, it was just like, you know, smooth, but the energy was good too, because over the years, we've had multiple contract folks come in, and not all of those experiences have been great. And the ones that were, you know, they get invited back, you know what I mean? So, so no, it's great. It's great to sit down. But I think what I want to do is just, and I usually write some questions down. I typically don't go right down through them. They're just kind of prompts, you know. But I'm just curious, you know, we're 2025. How long have you been doing tree work? Like what? Do you remember what year you started? Or
I'll have to do quick math, but so I was 17.
Okay.
Yeah, I needed a job one day, and somebody has a long history, but I've been on my own pretty much my whole life.
Okay.
So, left New York, came here.
Okay.
You wanted to touch on that at some point, but I had an apartment when I was like 17 years old.
Oh man.
And then 18, you know, just went from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just needed a job one day, and somebody was like, "Well, I know this guy that, you know, does tree work." I'm like, "I don't even know what that is." I'm like, "But he's hiring though, right? Like he'll pay me?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, what do I need?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know, just bring some gloves and a pair of boots." So I probably went to whatever, get some crappy pair of boots and whatever gloves I can find, and I showed up, and
That's awesome.
Doing it ever since.
So yeah,
37 years.
Don't gloss over the details. You know,
if you want me to go into them, you just direct me. You direct me how you want to go through all this.
I mean, from what I hear in that, you needed a job.
Yeah.
This person talks about doing tree work. Oh, it's just trees, whatever. You don't know. You get boots. You get gloves. That diverge. That's so. Go ahead.
No, just I guess the only question, and it just. I don't know why. So you were in New York. So the tree work part, did that happen in New York or it happened here?
Yeah.
And you were in PA then?
Yes.
Or? Okay.
Yep. In PA. Okay.
And so I guess quickly, what I, and it's up to you if you want to get into the personal stuff. I'm never.
I'll go wherever you guys want to go.
But it's kind of like, you know, I moved out of my house when I was 18. So I hear you say 17 and I'm like, all right, Rob was on his own. All right. So some stuff going on there. You left New York. Were you in like upstate or near the city?
We went back and forth. So yeah, we'll just dive into it, I guess.
Whatever.
Born in the Bronx, and then lived around there for a while. We moved up. I wouldn't say upstate. Maybe it's kind of like going from Philly to Bucks County, you know, or something like that. So, and then my dad was in the Navy, so he got restationed to Texas. And we already had family in Texas anyway.
Yep.
That was my dad's side of the family. My mom's side of the family was in New York. Moved to Texas. But just bad things happened there.
Yeah.
Just bad family stuff. Dad actually ended up dying when I was 4 or 5. I can't remember the age. So pretty much from then, it was all hell broke loose. You know, so, you know, a young mom with 2 kids. We were 11 months apart. My brother and I, they call Irish twins.
We
I guess we stayed around there as long as possible. And then moved back to New York to my mom's family. And it just literally got progressively worse from there, you know, being in New York. And it was, I'll tell you, it was a pretty messed up childhood. I'll tell you that. So, and that's part of the reason why I had to leave New York.
Understood.
Just in a lot of trouble.
I
don't know how far you guys want to get into it, but drugs, jails, like you name it. Probably half my time there was spent looking behind bars, and there was a lot of nasty stuff that happened there. Lived on the streets for a little bit. There was some nasty stuff there. Wow. So
it's more survivor mode, though, right? That's kind of what.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's
100% survival mode. Wow. Nobody was there to guide me to do anything. Wow. My mom just let us go. Like, she can't control two boys dudes, that were just rampant. You know, just out of control. And then, you know, got so much trouble there. I was like, I got to get out of here, man. Like,
Yep.
Like to me, it literally came down to three things. I'm either going to spend the rest of my life in jail, I'm going to kill myself, or I'm going to kill somebody else. Like,
wow,
I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Right. So, luckily, my grandmother, who my mom's mom lived in the Bronx at the time, she was like, "I got $4,000. You can have the $4,000, and if that's what you're going to do and move, then here's $4,000." So. Luckily, I was able to get that.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't have that, I don't know what the heck I would.
That's incredible.
You know what I mean? So
now, was there a connection that led you to PA? Was there someone
yeah,
you
I think
knew?
I knew somebody here. And it was kind of like, it was like half and half court appointed. Like,
Okay.
you're not going out on your own yet. We need to get you in this like halfway house and then kind of get yourself. Get
Some
your shit
stability.
together. Yeah,
Get your feet under you a little bit.
Yeah, get your shit together. And then I just went from there. So
That's awesome.
and then I got an apartment. I actually stayed in a motel for about a month until I can find an apartment, find a roommate.
Wow.
And then that was the one roommate was like, "Yeah, well, you know this guy that does tree work." So I was like, "Yeah, please. Like, I don't even know what it is, but let's do this because I need work."
You need work. Yeah.
It's funny because we've known Rob a long time.
I would just,
and Brick and I just said every time, so we're moving from our inner circle to an outer circle, right? Like as we have guests on and things, we have relationships with people. But we just talked about literally how when guests come on, people that we know, the relationships get deeper and those threads get kind of woven together. I love that rope analogy, the threads make the strands, make the rope kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And we're always weaving these strands together. So just hearing your story is kind of like, just completely like, this dude is a survivor. Like it's a completely different just perspective on like who you are, which is incredible. And you were giving some kudos to Brick out in the outer office here about, some of the things he's dealt with deafness. And I can't help but think the same about you. Like you hopefully are proud of yourself for, like you've overcome quite a bit. And in my mind, you're a stalwart in this community and, being around and, giving your time and the whole NATS thing and training. It's just, you have really accomplished quite a bit as a professional.
I'll tell you, like, I'm not even sure how I made it through because again, I had no parenting. I had no male figure in my life. Everybody I was always involved with, like I still have trust issues with people, but it's definitely getting better over the time. But it's a huge learning curve of like trying to figure out like what am I doing or how do I do this, and so there's a lot behind that of like I've made it maybe so far. There's no way I'm giving up. Like it's not gonna happen, man. Like I don't care what I do. How much I mess up or whatever, there is no quitting. Like it's just not an option in my mind.
I can resonate with that for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. First of all, not that like you have to have this like origin story but like that's heavy.
It's nice to know. Yeah, it's nice to know the background.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, but it's heavy in the sense of you're willing to share something that most people will be ashamed of. That's what I'm saying. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Listeners will too, because usually people assume that if I have what they have, or he has or she has, then things will be better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gotta take
you don't know everybody's story.
That's right. You got to take the full helping.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I just want the good stuff. It's like, well, do you really know what made that person who they are?
Yeah.
And it's nice, hearing all the interviews. And like, I almost feel like kind of left out. It's like people had like these role models and their dads were this and, people had like this. I mean, I had role models and we'll touch on them.
Absolutely.
But, for the most part, it's like, kind of envied those guys, and it's like, you like actually had people to guide you. You know, I was like, shit, man. Nobody people guided me in doing the wrong thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was good to hear that kind of thing. But so
what I love about that though, and it opens up so many questions and cool things. And I want to get into the tree thing here. in a minute, but it's funny. I remember having this talk with a friend one time. It was about our faith, and like I wasn't into that at all. I was like anti-God, anti all that. And I remember thinking, man, you were raised in it. You had like a much easier. He's like, hey, you're who you are because of what you went through. He's like, so I must think what makes Rob is all that. It's the dirty, messy part of it that you survive. But also I look at it in this way is two things. One, somewhere someone's going to listen to this and relate to that. They had some difficulty, or maybe they think they have it real bad. And they hear this and they go, you know what? I should be thankful for what I have. So it gives them a sense of perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we all have like a little different platform that we launched off of. And I had a dad in my life that was a dad that was around, but like didn't participate. So it was different, not quite as dramatic as that, but by the same token, wasn't really pouring into me. So I kind of feel what you're saying, but also I know my drive, and there's certain things that I know are survival mode things that have propelled me. And I hear that kind of coming from you too,
sure.
Which is awesome. So yeah, I echo what Brick's saying in terms of being willing to share. And that's what this platform is. My hope is that, somebody out there goes, man, all right, cool. Like I thought I had it bad, but this dude dealt with all this at a young age. And it's like the sum of all of our experience. Like we are who we are because of what we've done and what we've been through.
For sure. Yeah.
So, all right. So you make it to PA, and like where in PA did you land? Like what town?
Doylestown initially. And then I guess once it was time for me to essentially just like move on from that place. And then I went to, I don't even know what it was. I guess Trevose area.
Okay.
Right off of Route 1. And it was just a motel there. And I was like, I don't even know how I ended up there. I have no clue. Yeah. Right. I just was like, okay, I need somewhere to stay. Yeah. But at the time it was, I guess it was, when it was time to leave, my mom kind of had to make a decision on come back to live with her, until I can get my crap together, or like, how is this going to work? Yeah. And it pretty much came down to of like, you need to go now. Like you need to get on your own now. So that's why I was like, okay. Yep. So then I went to the motel, stayed there for a month until I can, network at the time. Yeah. No phone, no nothing,
Yeah, different times.
Yeah, so it was, it wasn't easy, man.
Yeah, different times.
And then finding an apartment. And then going from there.
So you met the guy, the tree job. So what was that first experience? You walk in, completely don't even really know what tree work is. You walk in, what happens? You walk in, what's the crew like? What's the leadership like? What's the... Like, especially now with the perspective you have, because now you're training at the highest level pretty much. So you walk into this environment. What's that like?
So it's weird how you say, well, what's the leadership like? What's the company like? It's one guy and me.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, perfect.
The guy needed help. Right?
Yeah.
So younger dude. I don't even know how old he was at the time. This guy, Mike Campbell. But he will come up as probably a very influential person on how I stayed or why I stayed with the industry. So, from what I can remember, I mean, there was no safety equipment, no hard hats, no chaps, no, none of that stuff. It was like, I need you to pick stuff up here and put it over here. And I was like, okay, fine with me, man. So after whatever certain amount of time, I guess you realize, okay, strong kid, we can keep going. And so then he would like hand me a saw and be like, hey, you want to try to flush that stump? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, if you think that's okay? And he's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, all right, so like, how do I do this? I don't know what I watch you do it, but I don't know how to do it. Yeah. I was like, is there any kind of like tricks or whatever? Like, he's like, you'll figure it out. Just don't hurt yourself. Like, that's the training, right? Just don't hurt yourself. I don't know how to not hurt myself, but let's just start the thing up and let's cut and see what happens, So, and then even like just being so new, like he's like, okay, we got all this firewood. I need you to stack all this firewood. I'm like, what does that mean? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
again, there's nobody showing me anything in life, right? So he's like, what, you never like stack firewood? I'm like, I never even heard of firewood.
It's like, I'm from the Bronx, dude. What
yeah,
are you
like,
talking
what do you want me to
about?
do?
Right, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, you take this piece, you put it here, and you stack it, and you try to line it up as neat as possible.
Yep.
Cool, I can do that, man.
Yeah.
And you just go from there.
Yep.
So at some point, I don't know what he saw in me. I don't even remember a conversation about it. He literally was just like, okay, I'm going to send you to a climbing school.
Really?
And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about, but if you're willing to send me somewhere and I can learn stuff and you're going to pay for it, then that's fine with me, right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What year do you know? Do you remember?
Geez. So if I was 17, I'm going to say probably around 18, he did that. So that will be 71. Like, do the math.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Just around about just the idea of a climbing school at that time.
We talking mid 80s or?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe late-ish,
Okay.
mid 80s, yeah, somewhere
Okay.
around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was through the University of Penn, and
There you go.
the ISA had this. I guess I don't know if it was
program.
sanctioned program, but
Yeah.
it was run through the University of Penn, and it was held down at Fairmount Park.
Okay.
And then there's a little backstory to that.
Yeah.
Years later,
Yeah.
so he sent me to this class, and it was 5 days.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, 5 days. Okay. All I got to do is just take my piece of crap car that I got for $2,000, which came out of the $4,000 that I originally, right. So, which the freaking car dealership screwed me on what I originally bought, and then was like, wow, somebody else came in and paid cash for it. I'm like, I got a slip saying I already paid for the damn thing. They're like, oh, well, kid. You know, it's just one of those young, I had my jean vest with all my metal, tags on, long hair. Of course, he was just like, yeah, beat it, kid. So just all I had to do, man, is go from Trevose and then drive down to Philly to Fairmount Park every day. And I was like, this is awesome. So it was Bill Graham. You guys know Will?
No, I feel like I've heard the name, but I never
so
knew
it's been
him.
a while. So
Yeah.
I pretty much kind of ran that climbing school.
Yeah.
And then we bring in other guys here and there. Chris Edson, I don't know if you ever heard that name. Awesome dude from back in the day. So this class literally covered soils, covered tree biology, it covered climbing, it covered some safety stuff. So it was like each day we learned about different stuff. And I was just like, holy shit,
Wow.
there's so much to this. You know what I mean? I was like, I can get into this. This seems
awesome.
really interesting, that it's not just about going up to a tree and then destroying it with a chainsaw. You know what I mean? Because that's pretty much what everybody was doing back then. It's just topping things, brutalizing, trees. But I always felt like, I don't even know if it was after the climbing course or before it. I think it was right around the same, probably afterwards, because I remember the guy, Mike, allowed me to climb a tree. But he's like, yeah, just cut it here, and here. You're topping it, right? I would make 2 cuts, and I'm just like, this just does not seem right, man. I don't know. I don't know a lot of the science behind it. But just butchering a tree like that, I felt like I was literally cutting my arm in half off. How is this gonna do for the tree? So I don't know what it was. Just something in my mind was like, this ain't right, man. And he saw it, and he was like, you know what? Just come down out of the tree, man. Just don't worry about it. I'll do it.
So quick pause.
Yeah,
So
sure.
he obviously was a climber. This is how he was putting stuff on the ground.
And he was young too.
And so, but how did he, had he taken that course? It's
I don't think so.
crazy how he knew about it, somehow. And then that's an amazing, that to me is okay. Cause a lot of guys too, back in those early days would hold on to knowledge. They only wanted you to know so much to get the job done. But so the fact that this guy, was willing to invest that and send you there, and all of a sudden you're getting this sort of second level knowledge is pretty awesome. And I can just hear by how you're espousing on it that it had a huge impact on your whole, like it
Oh,
opened your
like,
eyes to like
for
arboriculture,
sure.
basically.
Just like science in general of why am I doing something?
Yep.
Well, you're doing it for this reason. You know what I mean? And like, and you know, going back to all my struggles, whatever, I still don't even have a GED or never graduated high school. Just the court system had better plans for me. Let's just say. I could have gone back and did it, but I was already fully immersed in tree work at the time, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do. But so taking that class and then like starting to actually do tree work, I was like, this is it, man. Like this is really what I want to do. You know, like so cool. I was just fully into it then, and I was like, okay, this is going to be my living.
Nice.
So I knew about it, but yeah, like you said, you know, just obviously thinking back at it, and you go, wow, like for somebody to actually do that with a kid coming in, I probably only worked with him for like a year until he sent me off.
Wow.
You know, and I was just like, damn, like, you know, looking back at it, you're like, what a huge thing to do, because you still don't even get somebody to do that now, to commit 5 days for an employee, pay for the course, pay for the time out there. Like who, it's hard to even find somebody to come up with a day or two of training now.
It is.
Absolutely. And to deal with that.
And again, this is what I love. The part of it is literally everything that's happened since then, because of him.
Because of him, absolutely, man.
Started the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Yep.
So were any other guys added, or was it still at this point when he sent you, just you and him?
It's just him and I.
Wow.
And then you know, whatever, maybe 2 years I worked with him, and then, you know, wintertime would get slow, and then so I'd have to go find a little side job, and I would do like mixing automotive paints or something like that, or you know, doing stupid things. Maybe a little bit of construction here and there on the downtimes. What the exact timing or the exact reason, but you know, just at some point it was like, okay, I need something more stable. He might even have said to me like, look, I don't know if I can, I just don't remember, you know, that transition part. So then just decided to look for another job and ended up at Bartlett at the main line office, you know, in Ballackinwood. So
that's awesome.
And then that's like another, you know, huge incremental part of my tree daddy. And you knew the guy, you worked with Bob Timmons. So between Mike Campbell, and I run into Mike throughout the years. I used to have a stump grinder, so he'd come out and do some work here and there. But he flies now. He's a pilot, and he started doing like flying banners and things like that. But now he's like, there's a smaller Quakertown airport up near me, and he pretty much runs that airport or keeps it safe or whatever. So I'll run into him every once in a while. Haven't seen him in quite a few years, but another old friend of mine of the family, he'll take me up on his plane every once in a while, just shits and giggles. I've always wanted to be a pilot, so that's going to be my next venture. I'm going to have to start. I've been thinking about it forever, so it's time. Like
that's
I
cool.
do it. So and then so Mike for sure just kicking that whole thing off.
That's amazing.
Sparking that interest and committing that time. Like it is huge. Like if you really, really think about it, good luck trying to find that now, much less back in, you know, mid to late 80s.
Which is amazing, because as an industry, from a cultural standpoint, we like to think that we've sort of, you know, evolved, right? Like we know that we need to do outside training. You know, we know that we need to do, and look, I'm a small business owner. I have like 3 guys right now and myself. You know, we'll probably ramp up a little bit in spring. But like finding like time to send Mason out or one of my other guys, like, you know that Vermeer had that area rescue training that your NATS guys did and whatever. And, you know, we did send all 3 of our guys there that day. But you're paying them for the day, this and that, and like no production. And you do that a few days a month with weather and things like that. And all of a sudden your month looks short. So there's a lot of folks out there that feel the weight and the pain of that. The reason it's good is for the outside voice, but also, you know, the hope is they come back a better version of themselves, and then they feel invested in, you know, so there's so many reasons why that's a good thing. But the question I have is, you get to Bartlett, and I just want you to share a little bit about going from a sort of one man team, right? A 2-man team with one person as like your boss. And I've been at that office back in the day, and I worked for a smaller company. There were maybe 4 or 5 of us. And I go there and there's this barn of people with this big garage and like all these trucks lined up, and it was intimidating. So what were you thinking and feeling maybe like day 1 or week 1? And then how did that next step at Bartlett kind of mold you and get you to that next plateau? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know if I remember when I first walked in.
Sure.
I just do remember, like, I'm a kid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm here to just work,
Yep.
get paid,
Yep.
and let's see what happens, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't even know who they first put me with. But it's literally like, I just knew that I just had to prove myself.
Yeah.
Right. And then I started hearing things about this office, you know, and I was like, okay, like I'm in, you know, a really damn good office. And I believe they were like number 2 at the time in overall sales.
Yeah.
You know, I think was it near Washington, D.C.? I forget, Annapolis or something. Or they've always been number 1. You know, so we were always trying to battle of like, we're going to be number 1 this year, Ballard Kenwood. You know, we'd always get close, and we always have some good numbers.
Yep.
So those guys, I can feel the energy in those guys through wanting to do that.
Yep.
I was like, this is like, yeah, let's do this, man. Like, I'll help you guys, like whatever you need, you know? So just watching what was going on, you can see that level of confidence in those guys. So I was like, okay, at least I know where they're at. I need to like kind of please them, you know, and like, I'm going to work my ass off. You know, whatever they put on the ground for me, it will be gone instantly. Like, I don't need those guys like telling me anything, not telling me anything like, how come you're running slow? Or like, I need this brush out of here or this or that. It's like, it's already done, man. Like, come on, bring some more stuff, you know? And like, as a kid telling, you know, a guy that's been doing tree work for, you know, 35, 40 years at the time, they're like, oh, you want more? I'm like, yeah. And then the next thing you know, I'm like, oh,
here comes a whole top.
I should have never have said that.
Yeah,
you know?
send the whole top.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and then just realizing like what level those guys are at. And then, you know, having them saying, I probably spent a year on the ground at least.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe even
that's
close
good.
to 2 years.
Yeah, that's
you
good,
know,
though.
maybe they'll have me do some little trees here and there, but they weren't sending me up anything big. You know what I mean? They were like, you're on the ground, kid. You know, like that's just how it's going to be. And I'm still a firm believer in that.
Me too.
Huge believer. So like work the ground, do all that kind of stuff. So at some point, man, they were just like, okay, this kid can hang. He's very energetic about it and doesn't complain. Just puts his head down and, you know, goes to work. And after a while, you know, you start having fun and we all start, you know,
little
developing.
camaraderie.
Yeah, for sure, man. And then I guess at some point they just put me on Bob Timmons' crew. And there was just been so much respect for that guy, like just an enormous amount of respect. So to me, it was like my goal to like just make him happy. Just do whatever Bob says, you just do.
Yeah.
Right? Don't ask questions. Don't do, you know, none of that. Do what he wants.
Yep.
Things will be fine. And you look back at it, it could have been scary. Like, you know, some of the stuff you do up in the tree, you're like, hey, Bob, how's that look? It looks good, kid. Just cut it. And like, you look down, you're like, he's not even looking. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you know it's even good? Like, you just, you literally just go, yeah, it's good, kid. Just cut it.
Yeah.
And so if you knew Bob, that's how he kind of raised his voice a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Real quick, you guys know, you said Bob Timmons. Right?
Timmons, yes.
And is he, like, besides being like an actual good worker, I'm assuming he has the arboricultural mindset, training on biology, all that stuff too? Or was this just a guy
probably to a point. I wouldn't say he knew.
And I think Rob's experience with him is much more intimate and long. Yeah. So when I went there, they had hired me for a satellite office in Jersey. Yeah. So they were opening a new office. So I was there to kind of get foreman training. Okay. So I worked. I was Julio.
Yep, Julio.
So I was with Julio, and then I'd go out with Bob. So they were kind of bouncing me around. And then actually, I just realized through Riggs that Dan Flynn passed away.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was
like,
2 weeks ago.
yeah. So he was once they cut me loose from over there to come over here, they sent Dan with me. And Dan was my foreman here to kind of like shepherd me off the ground. And he was there for maybe a month. And then he boogied back to the office. And then I ran that office. I was foreman there. So I met Bob and knew Bob briefly, worked with him a little bit, but not to the degree that Rob did.
My question is he like this legendary status? Well, you're there.
Oh, he is
big
okay,
time.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah, huge legendary status.
Okay.
Did he know all the biology and all this? And I'll go into when we get into competition later. But it's kind of like, so essentially what it comes down to is he was my tree daddy.
Yeah.
Like that is the guy, right?
Got it.
I know Jake has, probably talked about him a little bit, but Glenn's a firm believer in that legendary status of Bob Timmons.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, so he is.
Just so I understand, because you guys know, obviously, I don't, but for the listeners too. So Bob he's a through and through tree guy that you can look up to.
Oh, for sure,
Got
man.
it. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay.
Just a total badass of
Yeah.
it just get things done, man, and just the way he did it, and
Awesome.
I seem to remember like a calmness about him too, like a confidence.
Sure.
He just carried himself with not a swagger, but just a, like a I guess a confidence is the way I would put it. That's what I remember anyway. Like,
just don't piss him off.
Yeah.
Because he had these hands, when
bare
those paws, man. Like you were just like, oh, don't piss this dude off.
Yeah.
And when there was one experience when I realized, I was like, okay, don't mess with this dude.
Yeah.
There was another guy in the office there. We had this old, I don't know if you remember that old Dodge war wagon, we called it, the crane.
There's a story about that.
Yeah.
You go and then I'll share.
So we were, this thing was
like a 1940 something.
Yeah. 40 converted into like just a log loader, right? You're not taking trees down. You're just loading logs on, right?
Yep.
So something, obviously the thing always had some kind of issues, brake issues, trying to go down hills and losing your brakes and, there are all sorts of crazy things. So it was this guy.
Struck a nerve, bro.
But this guy and Bob, like we had to unload this log truck so we can get it over to the job. It's like first thing in the morning. This guy's messing around. He's like, well, I don't know, Bob. I'm going to have to. And he's just like, yo, we got to get this done. Like, stop messing around. Well, and he just lost his shit. He was just like, get the fuck off the crane, blah, blah, blah. And he literally started taking logs and just rolling them off of the crane, like just manhandling logs,
like
where this crane was picking them up. He just put his bare paws on these things and was like, we gotta go, we gotta get out of here, this is bullshit, you're messing around too much, and just started throwing these logs off. And I was like, whoa. I was like, that's my guy, man. From here on out, like, you're my guy, and whatever you need, Bob, it's on me.
Yeah, that war wagon story. It's funny because now, did you know Kenny Hutz?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, for sure, man.
So Kenny was the rep for me. Like, that was my boss. So we're over in Jersey the one day, and he's like, yeah, Paul, you know how you talk really? He's like, I need you to drive over to Bala and get the crane truck, and bring the truck over, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I get over there, and I'm like, the thing is, I remember it was like a big old stick, like a split shift rear. I had no
wild
clue,
truck.
I got to drive the thing like across the Ben Franklin Bridge. Oof. Like no experience with, and I mean, I drove a stick at my old job, but like split rear, and like I had no idea. And this thing's like this old jalopy. What the hell, man? Yeah. So like, I still get triggered sometimes just thinking about that thing. But yeah.
There was some issues there, but then Bob had passed. Not too long after I left. I think that's I wouldn't say. He stayed there for a while, but one thing led to another.
He had retired.
I cut you off just because, but you were saying that he became the pivotal figure at Bartlett for you.
Yeah.
And your goal, like it became, you were driven by, and I don't like using the word, you're not trying to appease the person, but you want the blessing from the person by doing good work. And that's what
just absolute respect.
Yeah,
that's just what it came down to
exactly.
for me. Just respect. And like, you obviously have way more time in this than I do. I'm still learning. So, like, just use me as, your muscle or whatever. Like, you've already spent your time. Yeah. Teach me whatever you can. And, as long as you don't have to work as hard, I'll do all the hard work. Like, it's just that much respect there. Awesome. And I can always just remember, like, Bob would just love to sit there at lunchtime, kick his feet up, read the paper, Then we get back to work again. He's like, just let me finish this one article. And it's like, Bob, just stay in the truck, dude. We got this. Don't worry about it. Yeah. And he would just stay in the truck and just read his paper. And we'll just go bang the workout and just be done with it. He's like, how you guys doing out there? Like, we're doing great, Bob. All right. Just sit back and continue reading the paper.
Which is a compliment from him.
Oh, yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, him not having to come out and not having to say anything is the compliment.
Well, I didn't even look at it like that, but I got you.
You're good. And you're like, like, love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a trust. He's trusting that you're going to.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to get it done and in a timely manner in the correct way.
Yeah.
But I think he was such a role model to me, and not just necessarily learning how to do tree work, just to be a tree man. You know what I mean? Like how to step it up, how to push yourself, how to like
find second gear.
Third gear, fourth gear. Like, how do you go through the whole gear thing and get at top speed, and not care how fast you're going or, So even after he passed, a couple Bartlett guys went out there and just, during his funeral, and everybody was like, everybody got something to say. And like, everybody just sitting around. I'm like, I got fucking something to say, man. You know what I mean? So it's like, I went up there and I was like, just so everybody knows, like, I've never met your family before, but I know you just from Bob talking. And I just want to let you know what Bob meant to me and what Bob meant to other people outside of the family, in the workplace, in the tree world. And I was like, what we have tree daddies in our industry, and Bob was my tree daddy. Like, and just that kind of respect. And I was like, he is so revered that I feel like just yelling up to the heavens that a warrior is coming. Like, beware, this warrior is coming. Everybody's like, holy, like, what is he saying? And I was like, there was a lot of respect for this guy, so. Yeah.
Did you tell the log story?
No. What do you mean a log?
Like the log story about him throwing the logs off the truck?
Oh, no. I just...
Because that would have been cool. Like, I saw him levitate these huge... people
probably a side conversation. But it was literally about, kind of speaking to his family. His character.
The reverence that you had for him. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like, his family needs to know that, too,
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure it's the same for our families, but the idea, like, our families know what we do, but they don't really... for lack of a better way of saying it, but they don't know how the time that we put in the industry, how we like created a name, like we carry our family name into the thing. You know what I mean? Like Thigpen, like you carry that name into the thing. So your family's probably, he does tree work, but to people like us, like Thigpen, like, do you not understand who you're talking about? You know what I mean?
It's weird because sometimes I have run into that, and they're like, "Wait, you're Thigpen?"
Yeah,
I'm like. Yeah, why? Like,
it's weird. It's weird to be a recipient of that, but at the same time, like that's the time that you put in, and it's built on integrity, character, work ethic. Being a student. Like we can just go down the whole list.
Sure.
But you doing that gave Bob's family. I'd like to think they would have like a little bit more pride and be like, what Bob did.
Yeah.
You didn't understand it, but you stepping up to say that gives them a little bit something that day.
Yeah, sure.
100%.
Absolutely.
I got the same feeling, and I haven't met Bob.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how you just reenacted that whole story. I have reverence for Bob, and I never met him. I just ask you guys, who is he?
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
I
already have a lot of respect
man.
for this guy that I have no connection to whatsoever.
You know,
So
it's
really
interesting,
cool.
and I don't know. You would know because you were at that office longer than me, and I don't know if it was a Bala Cynwyd culture thing that they had. But for me, I think I spent most of the time with Julio, Hispanic dude, who was, and I just remember being in some big elms out on the main line. Like these things had sidewalks like this, and he's like, you know, go over here, bald man, go get this one. You know, like. And him putting me through the paces, so to speak, as a young climber, basically on a taut line hitch and like a 3-strand rope with a buckle, like traversing these big old trees and everything. And same thing, having like my own daddy issues, right? Growing up, moving out when I'm 18 and trying to please this group of people because I told this on the podcast before, showing up with an ego because I was like the foreman for another company and thinking I'm going to show up with all my stuff. And then realizing quickly that, you know, where the hierarchy was, I was in the bottom end of that. But I had that same feeling when they, and maybe you remember this, maybe you don't, the foreman had these like corduroy hats. They were like these and here, there's a reason I remember. And the Bartlett logo was embroidered on it. So they had other hats that were like printed hats that the rank and file would get. But then the foreman got these embroidered hats, and it was like a foreman's cap, so to speak. And so when I graduated from that and they were sending me over, there was a few other guys around, and Julio was like, hey, Paul. You remember how he had that like gravelly voice or whatever. And it's funny that I wasn't around him that long, but it just had that impact. And he was like, you know, and he gave me like the foreman's cap because like now you're going to be over there. And it was that same, like, I just wanted to fit in and like please those guys. And I knew like when he did that, I felt like I had to some degree like arrived, like I did the work, you know. So I kind of get what you're saying when you talk about Bob. Like you definitely there's so much respect. Like when I saw what was going on over there, and it was so far above and beyond anything I had done to that point, realizing like these guys are like the climbers on these crews are just, I can remember them being in some like, you know how big the trees are over there. And just thinking to myself, I don't
We
even
call it the land of the dinosaurs.
I'm just like, I don't even know if I don't even know if I can do that. Like just some of the size of the pot, like just, you know. So that was a good
stuff, man.
A good experience though, nonetheless.
I'm definitely thankful for working there. Like, I mean, it was, man, that's the training zone there. Like if you can, you know, work there and, you know, do good there, like you'll probably be okay anywhere else, you know? Just
And what area is this again?
Bala Cynwyd, so that would be,
City
I mean,
Line
it's literally, City Line Avenue. It's literally the Philadelphia is right here on City Line Avenue, and then Bala Cynwyd starts
right
on the
after.
other side of that.
Okay,
It's literally just on the other side of the line. Jake, those
He's
guys are in that Bryn Mawr,
Yep.
Broomall, but Bryn Mawr, Bala Cynwyd, you know,
It's big
they're
money.
right there.
Huge
It's main
money.
line. Yeah, you
Huge
consider
money
it the main
area
line area.
and like massive like estate properties, like
Jake, I remember-
massive trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Just to
Jake,
give you an
Jake's
idea.
always talking about it. I just
massive, dude.
The name doesn't always stick,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Lots and lots of money there, man.
And-
it's old money.
Old
Yeah.
money
Old
and
money.
big trees.
Yeah.
Huge trees.
It's huge.
Yeah, monsters, dude.
Monsters.
Monsters.
Yeah, little monsters.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're not even just like 140 feet. Then you got like 140 feet spread that's over top of 3 houses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're all multi-million-dollar homes.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, we got to take this down? Like, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, all right, here we go.
Yep.
You know, so.
So just one thing I have is your tree daddy Bob as a person, so tree man, right? Did he help you with, you know, because remember you said how the upbringing, did he help with that on the outside?
No.
Okay, just
He
strictly
was
just trees,
tree oriented.
Yeah. Okay.
After work, he'd go get himself a beer and go home.
And go home. Yeah. Okay.
And then he'd probably have some more beers there.
Yeah. Sure.
But, you know, every once in a while we would hang out, you know, after work. And, you know, usually on Fridays, we can sit in the office there. We'd go across the street and get some beers. Everybody would have a beer. But, yeah, it was all at work.
Yeah.
And, like, for me, like, I think just learning about pushing through those tough times, you know? And it's just like, you know, when you look at it and you're like, Bob, does this look good? He's like, oh yeah, it'd be fine. I was like, you're not even looking at me, man.
Yeah, that's great.
So, but in the same sense, it's that learning of, that's how he taught.
Yeah.
Like you'll learn if it works, right?
Yeah.
When it works.
Yeah.
So I told you, kid, that'd be great. Like, no, well, you did tell me, but you didn't even really see it. You know what I mean? But that was that way of teaching. You know, like you learned. It's a school of hard knocks, and I've been through the school of hard knocks my whole life anyway. So I picked up on that really quick.
Yeah,
you know?
it resonated with
Yeah,
you.
it resonated. Yeah, for sure.
So it brings me to the backside of it. So you become a parent at some point along the way.
25 years old. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, and I'm curious to see how you'll navigate through this. But just like, okay, you become a parent, and you had this experience in your past with, you know, all the trials and tribulations and all. I don't know exactly how to phrase it, but like, did that, when you realized you were going to be a parent, then you have 2 children?
2. Yep.
Okay. Boy
5
and girl?
years apart. Yep.
Right. And so how did that equip you as to what to do or what not to do? Did you come into parenting with a mindset of like, well, I'm going to invest in my kids this way because I didn't have it? Like, did that, I'm sure that affected you. Yeah.
Yeah.
some
I
way?
don't think I really went into it with any expectations or like anything. You know, my wife and I, there was some, you know, personal issues that led up to this, our son being born the first time. So I was like, okay, like we're going to have this baby then, right? Like everything's good. You know, like she'd lost one before. But that's kind of, you know, the more you learn about it, you're like, well, a lot do on their first, you know, so whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously amazingly strong for getting through that. I mean, that could affect women in
100%.
a huge way, right? Yes. So, so it's like, okay, we're going to do this. I was like, yeah, we're going to do this. It's like, oh, fuck. Okay, here we go. Like that was like, at that moment, it was like, hey, I'm fully committed. Like there is no turning back. It's, I hate to say 110% because 100 is 100. Like, how are you going to give more? But either way, 150%. I'm going full in, right? So, and there was no expectations. But and listening to your story on how you talk about your kids and your experience with it, like it was all exciting.
Yeah.
And then as soon as my son was born, like something off, like just went into my head, into my soul. I don't even know how to explain it. It was literally the greatest experience I ever had in my entire life. Like it was a moment, you know what I mean? Where it was like,
of course.
And I was freaked out too, because like the doctor would bring over like this table and, you know, to try to like, you know, clean the afterbirth or whatever. And I was like, what are you doing with that table, doc? You know, it's like, well, I was like, oh, I thought you were going to, just in case you missed it, didn't want to fall, the baby didn't want to fall on the floor.
That's great.
You know, so like I had no idea. And I was just looking at everything like, holy crap. Like, it's just wild to me, you know? So, you know, having that child was literally a huge turning point, and how I thought about things, how I felt about things. And like, I always felt like I was a decent person.
Sure.
I just did bad things.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't know any other way. I really didn't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Somebody's like, you want to go break into this house or whatever? And it's like, sure. But like, do we have to? You know what I mean? And it's like, I knew it was bad, but like, I didn't know any other way.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just to touch base on that. Like even going back to the city there, like I just remember like trying to help a bird out, right? In this park, all these people surrounding me, man. And like, they were just giving me so much shit. And then like a couple of these guys, they were trying to like I'm bending over trying to pick a bird up. Yeah. And they were like trying to throw firecrackers down my pants. Because I was trying to help a bird out. Like,
wow.
Fuck. Like, I hate you people. I hate all people. I want to get out of here. So just that whole, like, I knew I had goodness in me. I just didn't know anything how to do it. Right. So child was born and just boom. There it was.
Something
right.
bloomed.
That was the light. That was
that's amazing.
The moment.
It is amazing.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
because, you know, not everybody had, like, not everybody has that response.
No,
you
they
know,
don't.
some people be
No.
like they're you know,
And I hate to say it, but if you don't have kind of that initial response, not maybe as grandeur as
Sure.
mine, but
Yep.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
you know,
Yeah,
are you
it's-
really a good dad? You know, I think there's a lot of pieces of shit out there that are just like, that's your
Absolutely.
child,
Well,
man.
look,
How
having
can you not?
Exactly. Yes.
How could you not, man?
if
Crazy.
it doesn't change you,
Yeah,
something's
I think
dramatically
you need
wrong.
to reevaluate.
Yeah.
Why are you having kids? And
100%.
You know, who are you?
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just
No, I agree.
so there was no expectations. I just felt this
That's amazing.
crazy love that
That's awesome.
I didn't even know what that was.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I love my wife. But
Of course.
that's different, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
way different in
Agreed.
my mind. So
Yeah.
I got some pictures of my kids when we go back to Texas and the farm there. We got a nice farm out there. So like 5 years apart on the same old tractor. Got their little
Oh, that's
cowboy
cool.
hat. They're like
Yeah,
5 years
yeah.
old. They got the suspenders on, and my daughter's got like this beautiful sundress on, and she's all sitting on this old. I mean, it's like an old tractor.
Yeah.
Same tractor with the chains hanging, like farm pictures. So I'm just dying to make this. It's been a while, and I got some old farm when they took down one of the last existing old barns. They gave me some wood from it, so I'm going to make a nice frame out of it. But the whole story of the thing is it's unconditional love,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? With those two kids there, that was just that's a game changer for
Yeah.
me in life.
Yeah,
You know what
change
I
your
mean?
trajectory.
So- and that's like a true definition to me of unconditional love.
I agree.
Right? So
I have nothing to add.
yeah,
I
it's,
know.
You know?
Dude, no, I
Yeah.
wouldn't.
it's deep,
I-
man,
Yeah,
and it
is
still
deep.
is.
Oh,
It's-
absolutely.
it still
Oh,
is.
dude,
Yeah.
100%. 100%. And you know,
Yeah.
I mean, your kids, like, you know, you pour into them and whatever, and we talk a lot about this quantum leap, like with you with the deafness, like we can be there for you, with you, near you, next to you, but we'll never know the experience. Our kids feel the love, see the, you know, all the things we do, but they'll never really, until they're a parent,
Yeah.
you're like, you know, all of a sudden now they're looking and they're going,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Ding.
Ding.
It's like
Yeah.
I'm now having this experience. Like, you know, my oldest daughter, Michaela, is now a parent twice.
Yeah,
So,
that's cool.
and I like, it's cool to see her and see that dynamic
Mm-hmm.
and that mindset shift. It's just, yeah, the whole thing's, it's amazing. There are certain things you don't know until you experience it.
Yeah.
That's just life. It's
And
just-
even just trying to raise them, like, I don't know. I never had a parent to like
Yeah.
Yeah.
show me parental guidance
Sure.
of sorts, right?
Yeah.
I just did what I felt was loving,
Yeah.
and right.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
sure. I think that it's kind of funny you were saying earlier, but I think that happens regardless if you have parents or not, because you'd like to think like you could carry on what parents do, but sometimes you don't agree or you do agree with how things were, so you do it differently for your kids. So even if you do have parents, it could also be different.
Oh, I got you.
Sure.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, so like you, I don't know, just let's just say use the colors, but like just black and white. Like, well, I don't want to do it the black way. I want to do it the white way.
Why is it,
because I
is
think-
it,
Yeah, I
why
was
is it
gonna say,
always
why
gotta
can't
be
we
racial?
just-
Come
because I
on,
can.
man.
Exactly. 'cause
Why
I
can't we, my question would be, why can't we just go gray?
Exactly. Why not? You know, but the idea is just more of like what you said, with love and trying to create the best options possible for your child is what if you're into parenting.
Yep.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, you do what I tell you to do because I told you to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're doing it out of love and you just want the best situation for your children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just want to throw that in there because I know you didn't have the parents in the beginning, but there's also, like your dad was there, but your dad didn't offer
Yeah.
the things like what you're offering your children. I'm sure your dad didn't offer to you. So you see what I mean? So
Yeah.
So it really comes down to you feeling that love that you're talking about. Because I had the same thing, 3 times, and obviously we bend over backwards for the kids, right? But you also just want to make sure you create the structure and stability for them to thrive out of.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's one of the reasons I asked Rob about how his experience shaped him as a parent, because mine definitely, like, there were things I looked at and I was like, definitely don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
and you know, some of it was like the time, like my pop passed, I I've lost count. 3-4 years ago at this point. Actually, it was 2021, so 4 years. At 89. So he was an old school pop union guy. Like, just his whole thing was like provision and protection. So it was like, go to work, that whole like spending time. And, so I just had it in my head, like, that's what I was going to do. I was just going to invest and kind of be present in their lives, whatever it was, being at baseball games. And so my upbringing and the things that whatever worked or didn't affected how I parented to some degree. You know what I mean? That's kind of why I asked that question. But
that was a great question.
Yeah. So if we're cool, I'm going to pivot into comp stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll do comp, maybe touch on some of the training stuff and everything. So it'd be cool to connect that thread. So how were you exposed first to the climbing comp scene? Was that while you were at Bartlett or after, or like, how did that intro? And then we'll just pull on that thread, the comp scene, how you were exposed, what it was like, how your comp career was like and how it helped shape you as a climber. And then I always like to ask the guys that competed, what would you say to a young climber that hasn't competed about why they should do it, things of that nature. And obviously with you being an active comp climber, you can yank on that thread,
Absolutely.
So how did you get introduced to the climbing comp scene?
So I don't know. So I was at Bartlett. So that was, I don't even know. So probably, I guess my first plaque was 93.
Okay.
First prize or whatever at the comp. Yeah. So I think the first one was 92.
Okay.
So probably, 91.
Yeah.
Somebody had just brought it to our attention. It might have been that dude, Larry Canavan. I think Jake was talking about it a little bit. I learned, like, we did some stuff together too. And I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome, man. Using handle senders, base tying at the, just getting your throw line through, tying off at the base, and then just pulling a tree over just by tying it off at the base. We're like, holy shit, we don't have to isolate. But so it was cool to work with him as well, because he would just bring out different throw balls, bringing out ascenders and all, like just all this kind of stuff. So we really got involved in that. Whatever year it was, 91, 92, whatever. Somebody had just brought it up at Bartlett. It's just like, I don't know what that is, but let's check it out, And I think Bob and Georgie Wall, they were probably, I think they already went to the comp before.
Yeah.
And of course, Georgie Wall probably had an argument with a guy about a rule or something. It's like, how can you do that? We've been doing it like this for years,
Yeah.
And I think that might have been Bob, was just like, you can go, man. Check it out. It's kind of fun. I was like, hell yeah, man. So, and I just remember like going to the office there. I was like, I want to compete. And they're like, all right, we'll go ahead. And I'm like, okay, like I think there's,
I do it?
But also like I think there's money involved, So I'm like, how about this? I'll go and compete. If you guys pay for it, I'll wear a Bartlett shirt. How's that? Just like promoting Bartlett, So they're like, I guess so. Like, that's fine, So I was like, all right, cool.
Yep.
So go, representing Bartlett, and doing the first comp. So the first one, get nothing out of it. I was just trying to check it out, just seeing what everything was about. I don't know if when did you do comp? You remember, was it?
Oh my God. So I have to go backwards. So I'm 60. So I haven't even competed in like 12 years. I was 48 my last comp.
Okay.
10 years ago would have been 2015. And I think I only did about 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't even meet, I started my business in 93, and that was the very first year that I did see a comp, and I think it might have been either at Longwood or like Fairmount Park.
Yeah. Where I remember him at Longwood.
Yeah. So I think I was there actually visiting, and the comp happened to be there. I was like, what the heck is this?
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm like,
cool.
I didn't even, they're like, it's a jamboree.
Yeah, that's right. It was a jamboree.
It's a climbing jamboree.
Yeah, it was
and
a
I'm
jamboree
like,
back
what the
then.
heck is this? And I'm like, oh. And of course, I'm like, I should do that, whatever. But 93, I would say my career probably went from about 95, 6 to like 2000, I don't know,
Okay.
14.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Somewhere in
when
there.
you first started, do you remember like what the events were? Because it has changed.
I think when I did it was footlock, like a speed climb. You know, footlock 40 feet, I think was the thing. Ring the
40,
bell.
Yep.
It was belayed speed climb, throw ball, and work climb.
Okay.
Okay.
So when I first started, tree ID was part of the score, the
Interesting.
scoring. Right. I got 2 plaques, and this is like a couple years in, maybe 2
Yeah.
years, 3 years in. You know. And when we go back to Bob Timmons, like he was just like, "Are you going this year?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm going with you, kid." So it was just that really set home with me about, man, my tree daddy's gonna come in and like
Support you.
support me
Yeah.
and watch and like just have fun. I was just like, you're gonna go to the comp with me? Like, hell yeah, dude. Like it was just so exciting
cool.
to just have him go. So
Yeah.
and I remember, and this kind of sounds terrible, but so they would mark some trees out, give you a piece of paper, and you go around and do some tree ID. You give the common name, then you give the botanical name, right? And you get points based on if you got the common name, cool. If you didn't get the botanical name, then you don't get as many points, right? Maybe you get one for common, one for botanical. I don't know how it went. So Bob and I went through this, right? We're kind of like cheating. you know? I was like, Bob, what's that tree? Well, I don't know. I think that one's a persimmon. And I'm like, persimmon? I'm like, I don't think there's persimmons up here, Bob. You know? But I trust, it's Bob Timmons, right? So persimmon, you know? Like, and I ended up like not winning that one. So I was just like, okay, I need to like not rely on other people.
Yeah.
So I literally went out and bought that Audubon Society field guide,
Great
right? So
book.
I went through all my trees, right? It was like, I got to know all the trees now,
Yeah.
you know? So I started doing all that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
But I just thought it was just, you know, that's what was part of the comp. Was the tree ID.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it's freaking awesome. And then you guys did that at the duel in Delaware, right?
Yeah.
So I was just like, yes, bringing it back. And I'm like, that's awesome, right? So I think that really should stay. Right? Yeah, that should
Hey,
stay.
look, I mean, it's one thing to just be able to do the physical part of it, but let's bring the mental and let's first of all, every species has a different, like the attachments are different. The wood behaves different. So if you don't know what you're climbing, how do you know what?
Right.
Yeah.
You got to read it.
You know what I mean?
So what are you reading?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You got to know what you're reading.
I like it.
So yeah, you know, that was like the first introduction. And then, so maybe, I don't know, maybe took about 3 years until it started. 2 years, well, because I got 2 plant IDs and I might have had like a throw line thing or, you know, like always like a third, maybe fourth place or something like that. But just going to that first or second one, I was like, this is really cool, man. Like, it's competition. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of like, you know, like back then, you weren't really that friendly with everybody. You were just like, yeah, I'm kicking your ass. I'm kicking your ass. Like, I'm here to kick your ass. Like, so
I love that.
It just, that's the competition part, right?
Yeah.
So, and then I think when I first started getting really serious about it, I was like, okay, I'm progressing. You know what I mean? I'm getting a little bit better each one I go to.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like we're gonna do this. And this is where Glenn and Pete come in. Because those guys were still competing. So it got to a point where it was usually Pete or Glenn, mostly Pete would come in first, and then Glenn, and then me. So it'd always just be like third, always be third. I'm just like, man, I'm getting tired of this, man. Like, so I remember watching Pete Thomas do his work climb, and he had this pulley underneath of his hitch. And I was like, what is that? Like, what is going on here, man? Yeah. Nobody was doing that, right? But those guys were training, you know, like you heard Jake talking about all the training and stuff.
Yep.
So I saw that pulley underneath, and I was like watching him go out and then come back in as he's tending this slack. I was like,
mind blowing.
Yo, it's on now, man. Like, so I remember going up to Pete, and I was like, Pete, like that was pretty cool, man. Like, I think I'm gonna like I think I got a pulley from somebody. I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to incorporate that. And I'm going to do that for my work climb. Not even ever using it before.
Yeah.
Just seeing it, I was like, oh, I'm putting that on my gear right now. And he was like, yeah, good luck with that. And then walked away. I was like, oh, this son of a bitch, right? So I was like, oh, it's on now. Yeah. So, I took that as like a challenge. And like, he knew he was going to beat me all the time anyway. So, but it gave me that drive that like, oh, okay, so you're going to come at me like that. Yeah. Now I need to come after you, you know? So my goal was I had to beat Pete, right? Yeah. Never was able to beat him because the year that he decided that he was like, yeah, I'm done with that. I've won enough. I'm done. I think I gave him some good scares, right? Yeah. But he was just above, he was just that pinnacle climber, man. And very competitive, right? Very, very competitive. Even to the point, like, if he went to the internationals, some of the greatest stories, he would just get on the bus and be like, I don't even know why all yous are here. You might as well all leave. Like, there's only, like really at that point of arrogance or whatever. But he could back it up, right? He was.
And how did he do it at internationals? Did he?
I'm not even sure if he made it into a Masters. I'm not 100% sure, but really damn close. I might have been into the Masters. Yeah. But just like by a point, really small margins. Yep. So I'm not 100% sure of all his internationals, but so I was like, okay, now it's my goal to come after this guy, right? So then he decided to bow out the 1 year, and I was like, oh shit, like Pete's not here, and Glenn had already given it up, and Glenn, he is another one of my role models. He will be in that Mike Campbell, the first guy, Bob Timmons, and Glenn Riggs.
Wow. That's awesome.
Hands down, Glenn Riggs. After these other two guys, just unbelievable. So I always, talk to him like, dude, what do I got to do to win this? He goes, I don't know. You might always just be a bridesmaid, man. I don't know what to tell you. So I was just like, no, I don't want to be a bridesmaid. That's great. I want to be the bride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was more push. Yeah. You know what I mean? There was no it's totally. Just, you challenge somebody, you bring it up to them, you put it in their face. That's how I receive things better, and I just challenge. I challenge better with that.
That's awesome. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. So he's like, oh no, he might always be a bridesmaid. So I had long hair at the time, right? Just trying to do my thing. And he's like, plus, they're not going to send a hippie guy. I'm like, I'm not a hippie. I'm a metalhead, man. I'm a thrasher. And he's like, either way, you got long hair. He goes, they're not going to send a guy that looks like you. I hate to say it. And I was like, are you serious, man? He goes, come on, look around. I was like, wow, is it really like that? Just happens to be that year. So I was like, really? So now I got to cut my hair to win? And it was, I'm telling you, it was all the way down to my waist, like real long hair. So, and just coincidentally, I happened to get married that year. I decided to cut my hair, but also that was the year of the comp. And guess what? I won. So I was like, Glenn.
So it was the hair.
It was the hair, right? So from then on, like, to me, Glenn was like, you're my man.
Wow.
From here on out. Yeah. Like, he always tried to help me out.
That's cool.
Tried to train me, tried to do it. I'd go out to work with him. Like, Glenn, you tying a pulse saw? He's like, nope. I'm like, what do you mean, no pulse saw? He's like, you're in training. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, but this is work. And he goes, figure out how to get out there. Like, damn it. Right. Yeah. But that was part of the training.
Yeah. It's tough love, but it's like, he knew what he was doing. Yeah.
He 100% knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. So.
And fun. Glenn's like sneaky like that. Like just like, he's one of those guys that like somebody walks past on a trade show floor. It's that whole unassuming, like somebody would look at him and just go,
yeah. Especially with that belly he's got.
Okay, dude.
The party ball.
It's like, okay, dude.
The party ball. Yeah.
But having no idea like what his history is and what he's done and that he's written articles for the magazine and like, right? The hardcore stuff that dude's, that he competed.
Like Jake said, the fishing pole setup.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. We were making welding shackles together in order to create a better bend radius than just one shackle. The whole winch system, right? I don't know if you guys know that, but have those guys on, you'll hear about the whole winch system. That shit was, those guys were doing that back in the late 80s. maybe mid 80s, right? Mid 80s. Yeah. And everybody's using it today. I think I have the second one that was ever made called Big Red.
Yeah.
It's kind of sitting in my, I'll break it out, show pictures every once in a while and be like,
cool.
let me tell you a little story.
Yeah. Many stories.
Well, it doesn't go around much.
No.
It has to come from a Glenn or a Pete. Those guys were just, man, just amazing on what they did for the industry and presenting it even at the Pendel conference.
Yeah.
Right? And people, like sitting in the audience, and those guys were presenting this stuff that they were doing with video. Video of like, you got your old big camcorder you're holding on to,
Amazing.
And just sitting in the back, just watching all the reaction of everybody. People were losing their shit. What is going on here? Oh my God. And guess what? Everybody's doing it to this day, 30, 40 years later.
Yeah.
Like, it's normal now. Yeah.
They were doing that shit 40 years ago.
Yeah, it's cool.
You know what I mean? So just amazing stuff.
That is.
So, but yeah, so then, that's the year that I won was 98. So that was Birmingham, England.
Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first overseas
All right.
trip. Yeah.
Yeah.
So luckily got that one. So if Pete listens to this, thank you for competing that year.
Yeah.
Because I was able to win and
awesome.
go there. But yeah, just watching those guys climb and that attitude really helped me,
That's
helped
awesome.
my drive.
Yeah.
Helped my drive. So, so 98 was the first one. And then, I just kept just pushing, man. I just, obviously you want to win as much as possible.
Yeah, of course,
But I didn't necessarily go there to win. Like I did, don't get me wrong. Like I said before, like I'm here to kick your ass, or do the best I can. And, we'll see what happens then. But, my last win was, I didn't get another win until 2011. That was, Parramatta, Australia.
Okay.
So I got the two great overseas trips.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then I think when Sweden came around a couple of years after that, they're like, Thigpen, you're not allowed to compete. Because you've already gotten the two overseas trips.
Yeah.
And now Sweden's coming like, you can stay out. I'm like, that's fine. I'll let you guys have it, man. I'm not competing this year.
Yeah.
I'll help out at the comp, but so it was a long span there.
So Glenn becomes the, essentially a mentor, right?
Oh, for sure, man.
Work and comp, but did you also take it upon yourself to do stuff for your body, you're like on your own time as well?
Yeah. So for years, I definitely did all the workout.
You did? Okay.
Oh yeah. I'd wake up, just get my shit ready for work. But as soon as I was done work, go just eat some more, go to the gym, come back from the gym, eat some more, probably go out and party.
It's normal.
Tell you, man.
Hey.
But that was very consistent.
Yeah. Okay.
For I don't know, 6 years, 7 years, and then once I had the kids, my wife had the kids.
Yeah,
it just happened to be a lucky recipient of these little creatures.
Yeah.
But it started slowing down just with responsibilities.
Demands on your time.
For sure. And again, that was another part where I was like, okay, now it's on. Like now it's all work now. So I did go into just work mode as much as humanly possible.
Yeah.
We had plans, on what we want to do with our future.
Yep.
So just work as much as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So was there any, because I know Mark was representing Jersey back then.
Yeah.
Because I remember the England thing, and I was kind of just 5 years into the chapter, at that point, because about 93 is when I joined the Jersey chapter. Was there any, was that when that camaraderie started? Or was Jersey and Pendel aware of each other? Like, were you looking across the river at each other going, oh, these guys are our neighbor chapter? Did that start back then?
Yeah, I think that was there for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely not nearly
like it is
as
now,
involved as
and y'all kind of really like, oh, that's the other thing. Like, when did Rochi come in?
So he probably.
That was after you.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. It took him maybe, I don't know, a couple of comps.
Yeah.
He might have been in that same,
Yeah.
mentality of me of like, oh, I got to
your
beat
ass,
this
yeah.
dude, man.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So,
I'm gonna say he did.
oh, no, for sure. Like,
Not Jimmy. Not Jimmy.
and that's that level of commitment, training.
Yeah.
That whole thing. So, like when I started seeing Jimmy really explode and just being dominant, and I knew I would talk to him and he's like, oh no, I start my training in February. So or January, you know what I mean? He would do he would start, I'm like, really, man? I was like, oh shit, I'm going to have a hard time here.
Yeah.
So, and he would hit it, and he would have these very strict training regimens. When he showed up to the comp, you can see it, man. And he just started once he got that groove going.
He was dialed
He
in.
was just dominating things. Yeah, was, and it was just so hard to beat him, man. Really hard. So, but and I didn't have that level of training by no means.
Mm-hmm.
I might come home if I had the time. I'll have a rope hanging in a white oak and just count my pulls. I'll do a couple of those. So 11 pulls, I should be hitting the bell, right? Yeah. So just count. I didn't get into all my first two locks should be here. That wasn't my, just count, right? Mm-hmm. So just make sure you get as much extension as possible. Maybe 10 and a half, if you did really good pulls, then you can hit the bell, but safely 11, right?
Yeah.
So just go out and just do a couple of those. Come in, have some dinner, do your thing. And never really practiced for anything else. It was all about how do I do at work?
Yeah.
And it might have just been that era of, I know Glenn and Pete, they did, a lot of their little competition or side trainings, but I don't exactly know what they did. Were they out there doing push-ups and doing pull-ups and all that? Probably not, just practicing, moving and throw balls and stuff like that. But so
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the connection was when did Jersey and Pendel start forming that brotherhood essentially?
I don't know when.
You say you feel like it was there already.
Yeah,
when you came along.
Oh yeah. We all heard about Mark, right? Well, and then you heard about certain guys. When Jake was talking about Glenn, and Pete doing all the splicing and stuff, Glenn turned me on to splicing too. So I would just sit and watch hockey games and splice on the back of my chair.
Wow.
And once the kids were born, it was getting them involved, and they're staring at me Dad, what are you doing? I was like, well, I got to splice some ropes up, man. I got to do this and that. So just trying to get them involved, as well. It's okay, I'm going to pull the strands out. You cut it here. Yeah. All right, I'm going to cut that, cut this here, or I got to make a final berry here. So I'm going to put this rope on the ground. I want you to take this mallet. I just want you to beat this rope, So you beat the ropes up, softens up, so you make the final berry, just trying to include them.
Yeah, it's cool.
But I just always memory of just watching hockey games and splicing and having my kids involved and stuff.
All right, so being from the Bronx originally, are you a Flyer fan or some other team?
No, I'm Flyer. I've been here long enough.
My man.
Yeah, I'm here long enough, man. It's all about the Flyers, man. All about the Flyers.
My man. Just have a check, kind of see where we're at with that.
It's Flyers.
Yeah, good.
Even I got my my portfolio thing. My daughter bought it for me, and it's got the Flyers emblem embossed. Embossed in it. I was like, it's one of the best gifts I ever got. So anytime I go to trainings outside of the state, I'm just want you guys all know it's all about the Flyers, and you can leave now. And I'm like,
they're actually doing all right this year, man.
But it's funny with Mark. So, there was always that kind of connection of Mark did a video and here, come over and check this out. And then somebody would send Glenn a video. And so there always was, cool. He was sending somebody else a video. Check this out. And somebody send. So social media back then was still used in the mail, snail mail.
Yeah.
You got a video together and you mailed it to somebody.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And then they mailed you one back. And you're like, that's cool. Check this out. And
That's crazy.
So,
that is.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
And it's cool to be a beneficiary, right? So y'all were doing this and, those relationships are being formed, and like the chapters now are closer than ever. And I'll tell you what, whoever started, I mean, I don't know I think it was our guys that did the whole duel thing, but like Joe Gripe and like those guys and Bert and Todd and you know, just developing and deepening and strengthening those threads. It's cool that it started all the way back then, and now we're benefiting from it. But even the next generation, the young bucks coming in, seeing each other show up for each other. Like Glenn sent me a text the other day about the comp set for you guys, like your comp site and everything. And I'm like, if I can at all make it and help, that's what I want to do, you know, because I love it. I love it. I love doing it, you know. But yeah, the one, not last year, because I was able to be there with Mason and all, but the year before, you guys were way out. It was like 4 hours away. I'm like, I
we're
can't.
even further this year, dude.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's all by, it's out by Erie or something?
Yeah, it's just below Erie.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a great site. It's just what we had to kind of work with.
Yeah.
And we wanted to get it on the books.
Yeah.
Get it locked in so we can try to get the volunteers.
Smart.
But,
Definitely.
But the thing is, the climbers travel for those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a matter of getting the volunteers. Yeah. That's the bigger key. The climbers will travel. Yeah. So.
That's cool.
But it's funny, even like back in '98, I got pictures. Like Mark was still wearing jeans back then, just saying.
That's
while
awesome.
he was competing.
That's cool.
You look at that picture, man, and like almost all the climbers,
in jeans,
everybody had jeans on.
Yeah.
it was
normal.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean,
Well, I mean, if it's crazy because I mean, I think about it, and I remember early in my career, you know, same thing, jeans, and then you know, you get in the summer and the just sweat and hot, and then my boss started messing with painter pants, like trying to wear painter pants because they were cotton and thinner, you know. So we wore painter pants a little bit, and then my sister was in the military, so she could DX her old fatigues. So then I started wearing army fatigues, and I would like tie them above my boots and like billow them over my boots, and they had the gusseted crotch. So you had a little bit of room, and then they even got hot, but then they had like a summertime style with this like ripstop nylon. And the funny thing is, this is one of those things where you have ideas about things. And I thought to myself, it'd be really cool if there was like climber gear. And I feel like it was maybe 3 years later, Arborwear came out.
Oh, right.
And even their early renditions were all canvas, right? It was like, like their early, their first climbing pant was
those thick ones.
like a thick,
man.
and
They were like
the three
unbeatable.
button, you know, but I mean, they were like iron.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But yeah, it's just cool, like to see that evolution. Then all of a sudden, 4-way stretch fabric comes into the scene, and it just changes everything. That's like climbing in pajamas now.
Yeah, right.
You know, like even the I remember the first pair of like chainsaw pants.
Oh, it was snow
Just
pants.
like you're like,
snow
you're
pants.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
You're like literally. I was just gonna say, you're like the kid in Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Like, legs are all stiff, and it's like, how do I work
Hey,
in
guys,
these
wait
things?
for me.
You know, you know. And now, just man, it's just come so far.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's neat to see that sort of evolution of not just the gear, of the work that we do, and even the. And you probably remember this, like the first saws my boss had some old Homelight Whizzes. Like these big, heavy, like taller bodies. And then I remember getting an 041 Farm Boss, like this square, like no chain brake. It was just a plastic guard.
Right.
No brake.
Yeah.
To see the way, like where we've come with all the different saws. It's pretty cool. So that evolution has been fun and good. Yeah. So you went to internationals twice then?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how did you like? What was the experience like? Did
Yeah,
that open your eyes? Like some of that European, like you were seeing things.
Dude. Yeah, like just another level.
Yeah,
different things were going on. I think we still talk about this today with certain climbers. It's like they just do things differently in that European market. I don't know, like New Zealand, Australia. Like they climb together. They do a lot of things together, right? What do? Like we compete against each other. Right. We don't work together. And I think that's a huge difference.
Agreed.
But in the same sense, a lot of them, from what I understand, they have sponsorships, so they can afford to maybe take off for work or afford to, like, we're just so production oriented. It's like, I would love to, but we got a lot of work to do, and they might be on the other end. It's like, that can wait. We're on holiday, mate, and then, we got this or that. And
That was, that was a big thing for me. Like every year I'd get so stoked going to the comp and I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to look at the rule book this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to study. I left a lot of points in AR. Sure. I need to go, but I'm running my own business.
Right. It's tough, man.
And so like, I'm literally like, I can't, I got to produce. Like the wife's working nights and it never became that. It is what it is. Like you do what you got to do. But I'm sure that makes a big difference for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I saw that in New Mexico, going out there, the way they all hung together and they moved as a team and they cheered for each other. And it was this whole like,
and like they want to see somebody, they don't necessarily care. Well, everybody's got that competitive thing.
Sure.
But as long as somebody from New Zealand wins, or somebody from Australia wins, or somebody from France or whatever it is, we are more like Earhart has to win, or Abergini has to win. You know what I mean? It's like the individual. It's not about America. We just want anybody from America to win. How's that? Anybody? It's a weird thing.
It's almost like some weird but intimate relationship that they created with the group.
Yes.
That if anybody from that group wins, they're stoked.
They feel like absolutely. The thing is the way and if you study competition, especially like individual comp, like I was a fan of skiing for years, and or like whatever, and you see there's always a foil. Like there's these two that go back and forth, and they're pushing each other. So the fact that they do it as a team. Even when one of their people wins and it's not them, they feel like they had a hand in it because they all train together and they push each other. And so it's like, I didn't necessarily win, but they did.
Yeah.
And we had a hand in it because we trained together, kind of thing. So it's that team vibe, which is a little bit different. So just pivoting on from that. So if you had a young person or there's a young person listening, and I try to hit on this pretty much with anybody that's done comps. What would you say to a young climber that comes up and go, "Hey, Rob, listen, I'm thinking of competing. What do you think about it?" What would you tell them in terms of what it does for them and why they should get involved?
Yeah, I keep hearing that a lot. And that fear of somebody going to it. I think it was Athena that was like, "Oh, I'm just waiting for you to send me the invite." Like, here, get him.
No, it was,
but she could have went out and got it herself, and right. So
thank you for that too. Because it's both, right?
It's both ways, absolutely, right?
Yeah.
So, I didn't know anything about it, right? You just jump into it, man. How are you going to find out what it's about unless you just jump in?
Yeah.
Stop watching. Like, how about this? Stop watching anything about the comps because you're going to get this disposed whatever belief, and you're going to psych yourself out, and you're going to talk yourself out of it. If you look at all these videos and everything that's going on, you'll be like, "Oh my, there's no way I'm at that level." We know that, right? Hopefully, you know that. So who cares? Don't worry about it. Just go start, right? There's no way you're going to get better. Learn anything about it. You just have to start. Be humble, man. You're going to get your ass kicked. Right? That's all there is to it. Right? Don't worry about having to be first because it's not going to happen. Right? It's not going to happen in the first couple years. Whatever it is. There's a learning curve there. There's a lot to learn, especially what's going on now. The rules are hard to interpret. The amount of gear that's out there, the interface between the gears. Can you use it here, not here? Like, there's a lot to learn from it. So just do it, man. You got to jump into it, right? Go ahead.
The one thing that comes to my mind is, and I don't know if this is just me being old or like whatever, but like as a society, as a culture, as a whatever, I feel like we have lost the understanding and the value of how important getting our asses kicked actually is.
Yes,
absolutely.
The lessons learned, that tearing down, that humbling experience of saying, okay, I see my weaknesses. Like I went and I was great at throw ball, and I did okay in the ascent event, but boy, my AR I butchered and this and that. So it pulls apart the weaknesses and exposes them, and then it's something you can drill into and go, I need improvement here and here. And man, if that's not a metaphor for life,
Right.
we need a good ass whooping every once in a while to make us better.
Absolutely, man.
Like
Yeah.
we cruise through life and everything's great. Why would you change anything?
Yeah.
And just perfect to add to that is you're not going to get that at work. You are, but not to. If you do something crazy at work, you're probably going to get hurt. Where at comps, you get to push it a little bit and not worry about getting hurt too much.
Yeah.
To a point, right?
Right.
So if
Your
anything,
feelings might be hurt at the end of the day, but
correct. Who cares about your feelings? Right?
Which is again, that's
yeah, but you're
a
right
good
about
thing,
that.
you know?
But that's my point is like, what besides the actual competition scene helping you sharpen your skills, which is what you want, but that's also the spot where you get to push a little bit and then find out where your limitations are. So when you go back to work, in my mind, is that now you have this ability or experience to change your ability of what you do at work, if that makes sense. You know?
It does.
You don't want to do it. You don't want to be like, just show up at work and just cut to the top and see what happens. Like you have to get to that point.
Yeah.
But to your point, in competitions, you can show up and push it and see what you're made up, capable of, and then use that to build yourself up.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the way I felt like first starting to do the comps and even during trainings, I literally talk about this as well. Almost every single one, depending on the topic, but for the most part. But going to the comp, like even the first, couple of comps, they're trying to be safe, but that level of safety was only as high as what they knew at the time.
Sure.
Right. So
Absolutely.
part of the rules, what was being safe was 3 points of contact
Yeah.
at any point during the comp. Like I can unclip from the tree inside a canopy. As long as I had 3 points of contact, I'm safe.
Yeah.
That was in the rule book.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Now you're just like
that's insane.
are you insane to even think that? Well, no, because that was actually in our comps right back in the day. So
Sure.
that was acceptable, right?
Yeah.
So going into these comps and then going through those evolutions and watching the rule changes, trying to be safe. Make sure you're tied in when you're doing this. Well, no, you can't really use that knot because it does this, or like that is not made for that, or you're like, what are you talking about? So for me, the comps really help essentially take safety and production and combine them. So like even with some of the Bartlett guys, I was like, man, if I got to wear a helmet all the time, if I got to have this lanyard on, what they call the sissy strap, if you had it and you're like, sissy, you're like, what do you need that for? Here's your safety right here is a grip,
Yep.
Or what do you mean I got to put chaps on and make this cut? I've been cut like this for however long, but it's a matter of really combining those things. So like you can be safe. And like my whole thing was like, how am I going to do my job if I got to be this safe all the time?
Yeah.
Like it was pissing me off.
Yeah, sure.
But go to the comps and you will learn how being safe and getting into that production mode, you can do both.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I think we all see it to this day.
That's a fantastic point.
You know what I mean?
It really is. It's
Yeah.
almost like anytime we integrate any new piece of gear, productivity is going to dip.
Sure.
You got to stick with it.
Yeah.
And then you come out of it and you either become more productive because the piece of gear is making you more efficient, or you're using less energy or whatever, or just the pure safety factor, And I've been guilty of that in my career because it's, business owner, you're go. It's like the chaps are all the way in the truck. It's like, I got 3 cuts to make.
Yeah.
I've been there, man.
And now, I'm at a point now over the last whatever years where it's just like it's a non-negotiable. Or if I know, usually I know what my ticket's going to be, I'll just be like chainsaw pants today.
Sure.
If I'm not wearing chainsaw pants because I think I'm in the bucket more, I'm climbing, and maybe I got to buck a few things at the end, then I'll throw the chaps on.
Yeah.
But I think you make a fantastic point that it's that the other thing is it's the integration of the safety and the productivity, but the climbing comps are almost at the point of the spear because you're pushing to become more proficient to win. Mm-hmm. So you're forced to integrate those things and be productive doing it. Excuse me. So I think it's
But that still comes down to the person too. Like I'm sure we could dive in also. I love how you guys like to kind of get a little deeper on things, philosophy, you know, that kind of thing. But, you know, that's fine with the competitions. And, you know, for me overall, if you're going to try something in a comp, use it every day at work. Yeah. You will find out what the problems are with that thing at work. Yeah. Right. So when you go into the competition, and if some of that stuff were to happen or you know, miss, whatever happens up there, get stuck or whatever, you've already worked through that because you use it in production, right? So anytime I know I would, when it was comp time, right? My climbs, my production, and I can still get a lot of things done, right? But still be in that competition mode is like, well, I'm going to make sure I do a little swing here. When I get over there, I'm going to put my lanyard on. I'm going to tighten up. I'm going to say all clear. I'm going to go through those motions in production, but it just dials me in for the comps, you know. And obviously worked better for Roach over the years because he beat my ass on. But either way,
and if he listens, he'll like hearing that.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Right? Yeah. But that's a great tip that you just gave though, because I've been saying that over the years too. Like, listen. You still do tree work, but sections of it, maybe at the end or that limb that you're talking about, just visualize doing competition while you're doing work.
For sure,
you know, most people think it has to be two separate things. And if you have the ability to, that's awesome. But if you don't, you can, while you're working, make a section of that, the competition. And get you just exactly what you said is perfect.
And you get that that's where I think that whole other level of climber comes in, especially now. I mean, some of these guys are just so dialed in and
crazy.
Listening to Inman talk about, well, you know, I'll do certain things with, you know, my toe ball and blah, blah, blah. And like how they practice and like, I never had any time for that shit. Yeah. Like, no, I think it's awesome. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, even during a lot of that, I'm still working 28 out of 30 days in the month. Yeah. So like, how am I going to do that? I'll just have this rope hanging out there. And if I can get out there every once in a while and just hit it as fast as I can, but during work, I'm going to dial my throw line in, you know, making sure I slam something. But I didn't really have like an aerial rescue practice or anything. But, you know, so there's that evolution. Yeah. It's come a long way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's funny, just to circle back to something you said, and I think there's proof out there, is you said about dialing in and work. You're basically working out bugs. So if you're going to do it, you're going to do it at work. I think proof of that is look at when a piece of gear, was it the Vertex? Is that what it is? The
Vertex, the new one?
The new Vertex. Excuse me. Not that there was a big issue, but there was some little minor tweak. So in other words, like you have a company that researches and develops and does and this and have guys trial it, run it, and then it goes out into the production field and it's like, oh, there's a little tiny tweak. Yeah. So if they're still having to work out bugs, why wouldn't we think at our level with just going from work to comp that we'd want to work out bugs?
Yeah.
I used to be amazed, like as a judge, I'm doing gear inspections and I'm seeing guys show up at a comp with a brand new rope. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's not smart.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, now depending on, I mean, if you have a new rope and it's like your ascent line, okay. But if like this is your working line and it's brand new, you know, maybe you should have climbed on it and get
not
a
winner.
You know what I mean?
You're not coming in first today.
Exactly. Like that little bit of fuzz, that little bit of wear, that comfortability with this has been in hand a while and my gear's used to it, like that interface, and it's brand new. It's like,
that's tough.
Work the bugs out. You know. Hey guys, you are watching and listening to the Aging Arborist podcast. Thanks for coming along this journey with us. Brick and I are super excited to announce our sponsor, the Modern Group. Modern Equipment has been a very faithful sponsor to the New Jersey chapter of ISA, and we are also, at Tree Awareness, clients of theirs. We have bought several pieces of equipment from them, and they have been absolutely amazing. From the sales team to the service department to parts. If you're looking for equipment in the tree space or construction in general, please do yourself a favor and check out The Modern Group. They have 2 locations, one in Bristol, PA, and a brand new, just opening location in Tabernacle, New Jersey. You can go to moderngroup.com and check them out. Please, for all your tree equipment and construction equipment, go see the folks at Modern. They are second to none. So, all right. So we're wrapping up the comp thing. And I love how you said, fear, right? Fear is always an inhibitor of us stepping out into something like from behind our discomfort. So for the people listening, somebody's listening, and there's an element of fear. It's like, boy, I would really love to do a comp, but I have this fear. I guess like, what would you say to them? Like, I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but like, I'll give you, just use Mason because you know him. When he goes and watches, he gets excited and he's like, I really would like to try. And I'm like, well, he needs more reps because the lift takes away a lot of it. And he doesn't want to go and like embarrass himself, And I'm like, well, you could enter as an apprentice because you've never done it before and you're new. But there's that inhibition of like, I feel like I'm going to look dumb or whatever. So what do you say to, because you know him, we'll use him as an example. What would you say to him? Like, hey, dude.
It's tough, man. 'Cause I'm going to.
Yeah, do it.
Say, look, you're going to look stupid. Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
You're going to get your ass whooped. You're going to look stupid.
Yep.
You're going to feel awkward. You're going to mess a lot of things up. But again, you have to get into it, man. Like, how are you going to know these things unless you just dive in? Like, I love it.
Can I
say,
perfect.
like, don't be a pussy. Just go do it. You know what I mean? Like, you got to learn. Don't worry about the fear and the hang up. You can't let fear control you, man. Just go do it.
Love it.
You have to go do it, man.
Perfect.
You got to dive into it. The only way you're going to figure out what's going on.
That's awesome. Yeah, and the benefits we pretty much covered, right? Like the benefits of the comp. It's like learning, cutting edge, camaraderie. I don't really know any negative. It's a net positive. Like there's so much to be gained. And a lot of it, I feel like when I watch the relationships of guys that have competed against one another multiple times as I'm judging or whatever, that those conversations, like I'll just even look over and like see you talking to someone and I'm like, man, like this is cool. They're competing against one another, but there's this element of that shared struggle. It's like, we know we've been going through this for a few years. And that's one of those like, not an unforeseen consequence, but like an unforeseen benefit. You think you're going there for this thing, but there's all these other benefits that you just would never have put on a list. And all the like years later, you're still talking about like Pete and all this. And, you still see Pete now and again or whatever.
Now I see Glenn more, but
but that relationship is rooted all the way back from then. And it's all those like little strands that come together. So that's good.
Yeah. I think the best way for the listeners to hear it is what you said. You have to sign up, just show up. There's no question about it. But just understand that there is a gain to it at all times. Meaning, after the day is over and you go home or the next week or next month, you're going to be thinking about a lot of things. Yeah. So
on your drive home is when you start to destroy your own body, like your own mind of like, you idiot, you could have done this. You shut. That trip home that's
pivotal. Pivotal.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy you said that too, because that is exactly what's going to happen. But the gain in the concept of, first of all, you did the first one. Like that's always the hardest one. Yeah. To sign up and actually go do the first one. Yep. So you finally broke the ice on that. That's number one. Then you're going to think about the relationships and conversations that you formed or had. Then you're going to think about like what you can do to prepare for the next one. Then you're going to think about all the things that you learned that you can incorporate into your work.
Yeah.
Like, the gains are just continuous. It's not, I looked dumb and I didn't gain anything. It's I looked dumb, but I gained so much.
Right.
You can't lose at all. Now, with that being said, the caveat is you do need to be a part of it. Meaning you can't just go there and just not talk to anybody.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You got to go there.
Engage.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Engage. Like even on the smaller scale. And since I've gotten more comfortable being a part of the scene, I'm always trying to bring some more of those to new people. I'm like, hey, like whatever you have to say, you got to say it though, because if you don't say anything, nobody knows that you need help.
Yeah.
So I just want to add to that. Son, what Rob said, go back and listen to it again. Sign up, be a part of it, engage. It's the second part, and just understand you do not lose anything. You gain from the second you sign up.
Yep.
Or show up, I should say. I promise you that. And I'll even add the fourth part. Just be prepared for the ride home where you're gonna look at yourself in the mirror and talk trash to yourself.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen, but it's normal.
Like you mentioned it too. Like these things are a part of life, man. If you do that outside of comp or outside of work, like why can't you bring it in? Or vice versa. You know what I mean? Like it's part of being human. It's part of being life. Like
it is.
You're not that important. You know what I mean? Move on from that, dude.
Yeah.
Stop. You're really not that important. Everybody has been through that.
Yeah.
Every single person. The greatest champ out there.
Yep.
It's everybody's been through it. So just stop.
Well said. Absolutely. So I want to pivot to something that I remember you shared with me a couple of years ago about a trip you took. You went out west. Right? Something you had like a trip with a guide and you did like some
Yellowstone.
Yeah. Like, do you mind like just, just tell us a little story about the trip? Like, what did you do? How did you do it? What prompt? Just spend a few minutes. Cause I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in work and comp and this and that. And these are important conversations. But what's cool about, I find a lot of tree people, we recreate outside too, right? Maybe we rock climb, we paddle, we ski, snowboard, hike, all these cool things. So when you told me about that, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like you did like an overland or a backcountry kind of trip. So what was that? How did you get the guide? What did you do? Where did you go? What did you see?
Yeah, no, it's just something I just wanted to do. I wanted to go by myself. So I just started looking things up and just wanted to just venture out. You know what I mean? Like, and I hardly ever took vacations. Like that wasn't even really like part of my life repertoire, And even like one of the trainers years ago, he was like, so like, when was the last time you took a vacation? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what is that? And he's like, so like when you like relax and you go to the beach, I go, I freaking hate the beach. And he goes, okay, like, do you have like some kind of flip flops or sandal? I'm like, dude, what are you doing here? Like, and he's like, you don't even own like sandals or flip flops? I'm like, no, I got boots. Like, that's it. I work and I'll come home and maybe spend some time with my kids. Like, you're talking foreign shit to me, man. I don't even know what's going on. So just started like trying to figure that out more. And it's like, okay, I need to go do other things. Yeah. Right. So I've done some other things, plenty of stuff with kids and stuff like that. But, individually, like, what do I want to do? Like, I love to just be out in the woods, man. Just disappear. Like, I don't want to see anybody. I don't like touristy traps. I don't like, if I go somewhere and, even when we go to, whatever, we'll do some like St. Kitts, Nevis Island or whatever. Yeah. Or even when I went to England, we drove up to Scotland. I remember, it's not a dig on my wife, but she wanted to like sit in the hotel and like read a book. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, what do you mean you want to read a book? I go, okay, you see that extinct volcano way out there? She's like, yeah. I go, I'll be over there. You can read the book. I'm out. Right? Just backpack on and go.
Awesome.
So, and there's just other little things here and there. So I just started to try to like, I guess, treat myself, and then this whole Yellowstone thing came up and I was like, okay.
How long did you go? How long was
a week. I think it was 9 days total.
Cool. So you connect with a guide.
Yeah, I looked it up on like, okay, I don't know much of that out there. You need, some tent permits. You need this, you need that. So I was like, okay, I really don't feel like dealing with all that. So that's when I was like, okay, let me look up a guide, right? got a hold of the guide, called a couple people. I settled on this one. I think it was Nomadic by Nature. Great people, man. Like I would do any other trip with these two, like every time. Just amazing, like good people, very knowledgeable, like everything. So, essentially it's, you do all this camping, like, so I kind of talk to them a little bit about like, well, I don't really want to travel with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, we got you, man. They supplied the tent, and then it just started, we started talking more, and I go, okay, how about this? If you supply everything, and I can travel really light. You know what I mean? I love to travel light. I hate bringing too much crap. So he's like, no, we can literally provide everything. Gave me a price, and I was like, sold.
Done.
We're doing this, right?
Cool.
So hooked up with him, and then he asked me if I wanted to go in town for a little bit. I go, no. Like I'm here to disappear and hopefully not see anybody, right? And that's what we did. I think I saw 2 people in 9 days.
Amazing.
So the guide, you're with him.
With him the whole time. Yeah, because
we're out in the wilderness.
Yeah, you're disappearing in the Yellowstone.
But my point, you need skills, and he has the skills. Is that kind of?
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily the skills. It was just a matter of providing. Like he did all the cooking and stuff, like provided all the food, like that kind of thing. So, that's a skill in itself. I get that, right? Preparing for all that. Yeah, but essentially it was, I needed that guy to which direction, right? Yeah. If we're going to set up in this tent, we need to be there at a certain time. Like, and I did, I needed that, right? Yeah. But I also, I wanted that because I wanted to enjoy the trip without having to be so concerned about permits and time.
All the minutia that goes with it.
For sure.
So my question is, and this is cool because before you're like, no vacations, this and this work. I got boots. And so now you're 9 days in the wilderness, you see 2 people. How, if at all, did it change your headspace? Like you went away, like maybe there's an element of like stress, you're grinding, you're this or that. And now you separate and you detach from that daily grind.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a good question, man. I don't know if anything really stuck into my mind of like, wow, this is.
Did you feel refreshed? Like you came back and like, man. So being detached from like the day-to-day grind.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, so like, go ahead.
No, I think the best way to use the analogy is, are you able to release more than separate? Release, meaning like you don't feel responsible. You don't feel that you have to do something. You don't feel like you have to call somebody. It's
detachment.
Like we're able to let that go.
Oh, yeah. 100%, man. I didn't. The only thing I thought about was how close can I get to this bison without getting run over? Or you can hear the wolves. Like, how far are they? And you can hear them howling and you're like, actually not that far. So let's just, let's go on, alert mode and just make sure that we're kind of checking on each other. Yeah. Make sure you don't go too far over here. Just make sure you bring your bear spray and, that kind of thing. So, but it was exciting. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was just like, I just focused on nature, and just being out there just by yourself. Well, not by yourself, but
no, I mean, it is by yourself.
Away from society.
Yeah, but you have the guide and,
so again, I'm loving this because this is kind of like, this is kind of what we talk about too, but it's just you're with the guide, but you're in the power of nature. Both of you can easily die.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. I gotcha.
So you guys, it's 2 of you, but you're in an element that you are the weak creature in this moment. So you don't have the luxury of running, 16 miles to escape a bear. You don't have the luxury of having a helicopter come and pick you up and save you. You see what I mean? That's what I mean. Like it's you two, but you are alone, and nature is the dominant force at this point.
Yeah.
And that's a very powerful experience.
It was. Absolutely, to know that you are just out there, man. And you every once in a while you see the bear and you're just like, okay, they're kind of wandering that way. And what I thought was cool, like, and you're also seeing not just, big animals, but you see little animals. And you see the birds and you see like, sand cranes, and like you've seen a whole bunch of stuff. And then I think the most memorable part about this trip, the guy that I went with, we were at a certain area, and he'd never been up to this one mountain, right? So he was like,
I remember this.
Hey, so what do you think about going over to that mountain there? And I was just like, I don't know. This trip is not really about me either. Like, I want to do what you want to do too. Like, I'm just here. You tell me, like, you're toting me around, and if you want to go over here, then let's go over here. I don't care.
It's all new to me, so I want to see it all.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, and we're looking at the map. We're at the one tent thing. We got settled in, and we had like, I don't know how many hours. Like, we got there early. We were ahead of schedule. So he's like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, let's go do your thing, man. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, let's freaking do this. So we look on a map, got our bearings, and got our thing figured out. We're just going and going. He's like, I don't know, man. I was like, dude, we've already made it this far. Like, we're not turning around. Like, we're not going to do it. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, come on, man. Let's just, let's remap this. Let's figure it out. And so we start walking. And he's like, I think we're almost here. Right? So I was like, yes. So to me, this was his experience, right? Yeah. And I was experiencing
with him.
Yeah. Right? So to me, it wasn't about like, I've stood on edge of cliffs and I've looked at,
Yeah.
But for me to experience, this was his first time at this spot. He's been to all these other spots, but he had not been to this spot.
That's so cool,
right?
dude.
So we get there and he's like, we're here. Like, it just, his excitement and everything. I was like, this is freaking sweet.
And what's cool about it too, what I hear is like, having been to all the other places, there was comfortability in it. So even this is new for him, there's an element of discomfort, risk element, excitement.
Yeah.
So you're all vibing on the same thing. Like, before it was all new to you, but not them.
Right.
This is all new to all of you.
Yeah,
now.
this is all exactly. That's a great way to put it.
To the point, he
all of
actually
us.
sounded like he wanted to turn around.
I think he was more worried about me
I know.
on whether I wanted to continue.
Like, you don't even understand me.
Yeah.
Who's going to carry the boats?
Yeah, I can care less. Like, we can go until dark, and if it takes us till the following morning, then whatever, man.
So what was the result? Was it like a big vista there, or was it just a cool,
it was like a huge, a straight drop.
Wow.
Like, I was even like on the edge with my phone, like, doing some video. He goes, please be careful. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good, man. I could see him kept staring at me like, I know. You guys making me nervous, you know? But yeah, I'm just getting some good videos, and he sitting there just absorbing it.
That's amazing,
you know what I mean?
dude. Yeah.
And it was so windy, but you can see waterfalls. You can see
man.
All these mountains and valley. Like, it was a spectacular view.
That's amazing, dude. I love that story. To the point where, honestly, like, ever since you told me that, now I'm 60, and I'm, there's a few things I need to get off my list. And honestly, like, that's something. So there's a few spots I want to hit. That's one of them. Zion's another one. There's so many places. Alaska.
Sure. That's a bucket list. Alaska,
you know what I mean? So I'm kind of like, and that experience, like how you did that, something I really find super intriguing. And I mean, the wife would just be completely cool with it. Like, you get out of my hair for 10 days.
Yeah, please.
Go for it.
Yeah,
when are you
please
leaving?
Get out of here.
Exactly.
So, but and I think for me, that would just be that ability to be still and reflect and be in nature and just observe every little. We've done some cool stuff with the family, like Joshua Tree, the Grand Canyon, and we try to do like off the beaten path type stuff, find little places to stay, and it's always amazing. But that is very, very intriguing. So
and
he
was really good with photography. So, and he brought a camera with him. And took some phenomenal pictures, dude.
Wow, that's cool.
Just amazing stuff. And then at the end, he just shared all of them with me.
That's amazing.
So I had like a nice, binder folder, on the cloud.
The cloud.
But it's all there. I've downloaded quite a few of them, but just certain things throughout the trip, and
they're like they're fresh. refresh the memory of
Yeah,
your
yeah,
experience.
of that experience. Yeah.
Have you
It was
considered doing a different one?
Oh yeah, for sure. Since you already did Yellowstone, maybe
Yeah.
you go to Yosemite.
Yeah.
We actually just stopped into Yosemite. Did a climb for the redwoods.
Oh,
back
wow.
in September.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
depending on who you talk to, you got coastal and you got your Sierra.
Yeah.
They're both redwoods,
Yeah.
but when you more discuss like, well, the real redwoods are the coastal redwoods.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know, I get it, but
Yeah.
so we're just out there doing some research stuff. That was, I don't know, 5-6 days for that. So that was really cool, being a part of that and not having to run a chainsaw at all, man. Like you're just climbing and just like retrieving, scientific gear and then just bringing it down to the ground. And, I did have a kind of a weird incident happen there. I'm just glad I caught it, but, I don't know if you want to go into later, but
Yeah, I mean, you have to tell.
yeah,
now.
I mean, I don't know if you wanted to go into like any other.
Well,
like
I mean,
I've
I would-
had a fall before, like
I
so
would
I've
just say
fallen
hit-
from a tree, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
kind of ties into some of that. But if you want to,
Yeah, I mean, you can just
Touch base.
dig into it. What happened when you were there? What happened?
oh, when I was there, so yeah, it's the rope is pretty much pre-installed, and they got a really strong strap at the top and a pulley, so you got your throw line going through there, so you don't have to constantly set your line each time, right? Extremely durable. I don't know, it had to been 1.5 to 2 inch. I don't know if it was all nylon or nylon polyester mix, but just super strong, bomb-proof like webbing, just hanging like a rescue pulley. So I get up there, and I have to make a cut in order to get a certain diameter limb so they can bring it down. They can inspect for beetle damage, bark beetle damage. And they're starting to see that damage in the redwoods, right? Which can be a huge, huge problem. But what they're figuring out is the damage is there, but the trees are responding well, right? But the beetles are there and they're making holes, right? All over the place. So that was part of the whole research and how all this is working out. So I needed a handsaw to cut this one limb. They tied a handsaw on. I'm pulling the thing up. So I'm pulling up, 230 feet, 40, whatever it is, 200 something feet. So I got to pull this thing up to me. But this is the first time I've done this for this, this project and all this kind of stuff. So I'm not really paying attention to where my rope is flaking, right? Even though I'm pulling up that handsaw, it's flaking behind the tree in a weird way, right? I'm assuming that it's kind of running down because of all the rope of the weight or the weight of the rope. So I'm pulling this thing up. So when I pull it up, I notice there's no scabbard on it. I'm like, I get on the radio and I was like, so like who tied the saw on? Like, would you like to have a scabbard on it, please? And they're like, the scabbard was on, it just fell off. And I was like, okay, yep, fair enough, man. But it'd be nice to make sure that the scabbard is secure.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Absolutely.
So I go to get the saw up, go to lower the rope down, and as I'm lowering it down, just in the back of my mind, just through normal work practices, just inspecting the rope as it's going through my hand. I come across this nick, and I was like, ooh. So like I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I don't know how else this is going to get nicked unless it got, the way it was flaking down the backside of the tree. One of the main scientist guys was like, hey, why is that doing that? I'm like, I have no idea why it's doing that. He goes, it's flaking really weird in the back here. So I was like, I'm not 100% sure. It's maybe just because how fast I'm doing it. I'm not sure. Didn't really quite pay attention until I found that nick in that rope. So I was like, oh, I am not coming down. I will die if I come down on this rope. So I just put a knot in it, radio down, and says, I need an entire new rope. We have a fully compromised rope here. I can't get down unless I get a new rope. I'm not doing it. And I'm like, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm 100%. Just please tie on another rope. Okay. So yeah, and that was just one thing that, like in the back of your mind, no matter how long you've been doing tree work or whatever, like you have to pay attention, man.
Yeah, no
like
doubt.
at any given point, there could be an issue somewhere.
100%.
So don't take anything for granted, but yeah, that's just kind of been
That's amazing.
That whole career of, falling from a tree and then watching another guy fall and die right in front of me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there's a bunch there. I don't know how much time you got.
He's going to have another episode. Too.
Yeah.
But there's a lot there. So that just kind of brings, all this into perspective for
no
me
doubt. 100%. Yeah.
Like safety and like, why are you doing something?
Yeah.
And, this industry, we talked about, how do you improve this industry?
Yeah.
And there's no real bomber-proof answer. I think it's a whole chain of things.
I agree.
But yeah, there's a lot there, but it can be done.
It's a good segue, really, to get into your NATS stuff. Like, really,
that's good.
With that being said, and I love how you said just my normal thing of inspecting rope. And it's funny because I've had this conversation with some young folks that they're on a job and they want to please, so they see you bag your rope or they see you put your gear away, and so sometimes guys will want to chime in. And I have had this experience multiple times in my career. I'm like, hey, listen, I know you're trying to help. And I'm so grateful that you want to help me get my stuff packed up. But as a climber, like, understand, like, I'm putting it away and I'm checking my rope as I'm feeling it, looking at it. It's moving through my hands. I need to put this rope away.
Yep.
So those things are important. But I love how you said it's just an integral part of your normal work practice. I think that's a great segue to talk about NATS. So you're a trainer for NATS. Touch on that a little bit. I've shared my incredibly great experience that I had with NATS doing train the trainer, 60 hours, some of the best training I've had in my career, period, bar none. Not just from the technical stuff, but even some like personal development, interpersonal,
man.
Growth mindset, like just touching on so many things. In fact, you and I were... Ed was giving a talk before we went on.
Oh yeah,
at Expo. I know his name. I've seen him.
Yep.
But I never met him, talked to him, or seen him speak. And then I didn't even know it was him on the stage talking. And when he was talking, I was like, I really like this.
Well, it was funny because we're talking about Ed Carpenter. Just for the listeners, Ed Carpenter is the head of NATS, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
But he was doing like just a mental clarity exercise, like a little meditation or whatever. And Brett goes, he's meditating. I'm like, yes, he is. Yeah. Like, this is Ed,
Yeah.
But that was a cool experience,
It was,
So yeah, NATS. And that was cool because that was like a mind expander for me. I was like, oh wow, we can. Interesting thing is we separate things. We talk about this a lot, right? Like, I do part of my morning rituals, my prayer time, my reading scripture, meditation, things like that. And I don't think about stopping sometimes in the middle of the day to do it. So back then when I did the train the trainer, I'm like, this is a really good practice. So talk to me a little bit about NATS. I just say like quickly how you got involved, but then what are some of the things you're doing training wise? Like what are some of the subjects you talk? And then the main thing I want to hit on is, why is it important, do you think, for companies to bring outside people in and train? And what are some of the key benefits? So yeah.
It took me actually a little bit to get into NATS, I guess. Like originally, there's no application.
Mm-hmm.
It was more or less recommended by another trainer that you knew somebody that could fit this.
Yeah.
This trainer kind of thing. And I guess my in was Tony Trussell.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love talking to that dude. He's what we call like a wordsmith. Like that dude is very philosophical. He's got, I don't know if a master's in philosophy.
Oh, that's
and,
cool.
A lot of stuff. He taught me an enormous amount of things. So he kind of brought me into that. And at first I was like, I was a little reluctant just because of who else was also involved in that. And I was like, well, if I have to kind of, take instructions from them, then I don't want any part of this, man. I'll wait. And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, if he's involved, I'm not throwing any name, but if he's involved, and I'm not. So, and I just knew where I stood on that whatever. So that kind of got a little different. And then, so I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. If Tony, if you think that, I could benefit from this and you guys can benefit it. He goes, yeah, no, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So I joined that. Literally, I think I was thrown in with the Wolves, man, like right off the bat. So a lot of their big contracts essentially were out in California. That's where they made a lot of money. Lost some too. But pretty much during almost all the wildfires out there, it was pretty much we were in and out of there quite a bit. So the first one that pretty much got thrown in, with the Wolves was the Santa Rosa fire. Most people don't really remember. Paradise though? Yeah. Everybody knows the Paradise one because it was on video. They did a documentary, which is a horrible, horrible scene and what happened. But these things happen all the time from, wildfires all the time. So doesn't make one worse or better than the other. They're all huge, huge fires that destroy towns, people, animals, you name it. So pretty much essentially in and out of there all the time. So just learning a lot through what I'm seeing there, and then go through the train the trainer program, which was huge in, like you said, figuring out what the details of what you're training, not just saying, well, just watch out of the kickback zone. Okay, but why is it the kickback zone? Well, it comes up at this corner of the saw. Okay, why does it cause kickback? Most people can't really dive into that and get into the details about why that happens or why this happens or why are we teaching this or why, So it's really about educating yourself on the why of things. So as a trainer, you can really dive into it with people that you're training. And I think that really helps have it settle into people's minds, So, there's been a lot of stuff, like you said, that not only, when I first came in, Tony was like, yeah, you'll be fine. I'm like, yeah, I could run a saw, this and that. But then when you start learning different techniques and now you got to train somebody, you got to talk to somebody else in a way that they can learn.
They can assimilate the information.
Yeah. And that's a different beast, man.
Dude, I'll be honest. And it's part of, it's almost like one of those drive home conversations where you say like you beat yourself up when you go home. And I don't know why I do this, but like, by way of admission, like right on the podcast, it was a similar experience to me going to Bartlett and getting humbled. They set the trainer up for New Jersey CAA because we were training people. They're like, they got a grant. They're like, we have this grant. We're going to bring all our trainers in. You're going to spend a week, 60 hours, 6 days, 10-hour days, whatever, like in the classroom, out in the field. I'm like, whew. And then I remember thinking, oh, this is pretty cool. And I'm like, so I walk in the classroom with a little bit of like a chip on my shoulder. And I see Ed, and I think Dwayne at the time was there. And I'm thinking, I already train people. Like I am a trainer. Like I'm like in my mind, not to this degree, but like, what are they going to teach me? Like I'm a trainer.
Yeah.
And
just saying, they all think that before they go in there.
Bro, it's just like, and I go and I mean, like literally they introduce themselves, this and this, and we're like probably 10 minutes in and I'm like, okay, and I just fully immersed.
Yeah.
And I felt like even to the point, like when I see Ed to this day, there's a connection because of spending that 60 hours with somebody.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So that was
it's a deep training, and they try to do it online, and I'm like, don't do it online. That's fine. You want to do it, but when they start opening that back up for in person, this is a totally
different. It's the only way to go, dude. Totally and even sharing that experience with the other dudes in the room. Like some of the exercises you go through and like working through things and putting the sticky papers up on the review everything from the day before, and they're just constantly hitting. And I mean, there were things like you're talking about kickback, rotational force and this and that. And I'm like, now I understand why.
Yeah.
Like I get to, but don't cut here, don't cut with this, but why? Like,
right.
What are the 4 safety features of a chainsaw? And it's like, oh, wow, I haven't really thought about that.
Kind of up to 6 now. Just
I'm saying, well, they start going through it, and you're just like this and that, and, the spark arrestor, the chain catch, the hand guard, and you're just like, whoa, okay, yeah, there's a lot more here. And I didn't even really understand that the saws were set up with geometry to like sight.
Yeah.
Like put your hand here, line your knuckle up with the brake. It puts the thing at the bar at the proper angle. And I'm like,
ergonomics.
it was like second world. I'm like, I'm just what?
Yeah.
And I'm so many years into my career because this is, 10 or 15 years ago.
Oh, what? That long ago?
10 years probably.
Yeah, no shit.
I think.
Okay. I
could be way off, but I'd say 10.
Yeah, but once COVID hit, like I think everybody's time frame
That is
literally
true.
got blown out the
It's crazy.
It is weird. It's a
really
weird concept of thinking that.
COVID is actually like the marker now.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like,
is it
was that
before
before
or
COVID?
after?
Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So real quick, I'm just curious. So you got thrown into the wolves as far as like to be a trainer is what you're saying. So
yeah, it's not like there wasn't any like real easy warm up to it.
Yeah,
it was like, okay, like we have a big contract in California. Towns are on fire, and now you got to go in, and we're going to do things here and try to be the safety, officers or whatever their title was at the time, and then. So we had the ability to do work when needed, and then it eventually evolved to a point where it was like, okay, we're not allowed to do any work, and this was years later. So anywhere from what was it, 2015? I think whatever our last one was, it was maybe 2 years ago. So there's a good span of pretty much every big fire that happened out there. Like it's
you go
really sad, but there was a lot of work there.
So work you're saying like the NATS team will actually work as well as train the people
used to be able to,
but not anymore.
Not anymore. Not
all right.
on a fire like that. You're not a hot shot crew or
Right.
you're
Right.
not. So
Got it. Okay.
So why do we think, we'll just open it up to both of you guys, like the importance of bringing outside people in to train in a company. And we already said it could be difficult to just even volunteer for a small company, but what do you think? A couple of the biggest advantages of bringing an outside voice in, to a company to train their people.
Yeah, I think you guys have said it before, where they're only going to listen to you so much. Like they hear that voice, they hear that tone.
Familiar.
Yeah, they're familiar with it. They know you. They work with you a lot. Sometimes they like you. Sometimes they don't.
That's true, yeah.
But they're just. I don't know what that psychology is, but. It's just you need to hear it from somebody else. It's almost like a validation of what you're saying. Well, let's bring somebody else in. Let's teach on this or even on something else. It's kind of like your kids, right? You can tell them, my daughter owns this business, Plants on the Sill, Ottsville, PA. It's beautiful. She does weddings, flowers.
Wow. Yeah, that's
beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah, she's been doing that. Since she's been in high school. Actually selling plants and stuff to her teachers and like
that's awesome.
So she's really been into that. So like going on business wise, I'm not saying I'm business savvy by any means, and I used to have a business back in '98, Modern Arborist, and I had to let that go, and a lot there. But you talk to her about certain things, she's like, you don't get it. And it's like, okay, I've been through this like quite a bit.
Yep.
You don't know what you're talking about. And all of a sudden, now we got her involved in one of those business mentors, right? So she talks with a business mentor once a month, go over some stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there listening to like in the background. I'm like, we went over that, Tori. Remember that 2 years ago? And then she'd be like, shut up, Dad. I'm on the thing. And then like afterwards, it's like, I know we did go over that. And I'm like, okay, just saying. They're just hearing it from somebody else, right? And I think that's just... I don't know. There's got to be some psychological thing for it, but they're tired of listening to you, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just got to hear it from somebody else.
Yeah. No,
right?
I think that's what it is. I think it's because it's familiar. For whatever reason, but because it's familiar, you're like, I'm not sure if that's the answer. I just want confirmation.
Yeah.
And then when it comes from somebody else, exactly the same message.
Right.
That's the confirmation. Even though like your daughter doesn't really want to give you credit for it, she has to.
She doesn't have to. That's fine.
No, not for you.
It's up here.
Right?
As long as I know that it's up here, you don't need to say anything.
Yeah.
No, and you're right. It's like we don't care. amazing things can happen if we don't care who gets the credit, right?
Yeah.
And I've had that, and you're probably having it now with your kids. Like same thing. Like it's like, oh, Bill said this, and I'm like,
yeah.
Bill's a smart man.
Yeah. And that's what, like, I just so we're clear, like that's what I mean by like she has to, like, not verbally, but just in the idea of like, oh, and that's what I mean by familiar and confirmation.
Like
and
I've heard this before.
You know what I mean? So it's just, I'm not even, like I said, I don't even care if my kids don't learn it from me.
Yeah.
But I don't. I'd rather get you guys involved immediately so they learn it sooner and then later because they heard it from me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
man, honestly, and this is like, I'm not going to pat myself on the back, but I am. It's almost a very, very, very purposeful stroke of genius why I keep pushing my son to go to work day, to go to the comps, to volunteer. He's like, I'm going to call Rick. I'm like, call Rick. I want to text Rick. Text him.
Yeah, please.
Go have a conversation with Rob in the garage. You know why? Because from an ethos standpoint, we're all vibing on the same frequency.
Exactly.
They're not going to tell you something tree work wise that I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
And you might actually hear it.
Yeah.
And I don't care where you get it from. Just go
Care
get
less,
it.
man.
Okay,
Pick it up, learn, be safe.
Yeah. So, I mean, to your point, I think that's what you're saying about the outside trainers. That's the reason why companies should bring an outside trainer. It's because the workers already heard it from Brooke O'Reilly 100 times. Mm-hmm. They just need confirmation from somebody else.
The other thing is, too, there's a huge difference, and I don't need to say it, but I'm going to anyway, between on-the-job training and
Just
training.
say that next.
Shutting production down. This is not about getting anything done today.
Right.
We're not trying to get a job done, finish a ticket. We're having this, or you're going off site. You're going to another spot.
Yeah.
So nothing's familiar.
And we've run into that. And, with NATS, they'll do on-job training, OJT training, right? Yeah. So there was a company down in Delaware, did like 5 days with those guys, I mean, they had all their cranes, bucket trucks, lifts, climbers, big company. It ended up selling out. I probably Savage or they seem to be buying up everybody.
Or some other big private equity.
Which is, fine, man. They had a really good business going on that. So I'm sure they got paid. That's cool, man. Like, good for you. And we'll retire and go have some fun, right? Do whatever. But, we committed, or they committed. They're we don't care what gets done. We're bringing a crane out on one day. We got all of our buckets and lifts out on another day. We're committing all of our climbers. We'll have other crews going out to generate some money, but during these days of on-the-job training with those crews, we don't care what gets done. I'm like, that's good because you can't.
Yeah, you
right. Because then other companies have literally we got to get this. It's like, we're in a training. This is not production mode. Okay, it's totally different, right? So to make that separation, and I think to sell it as, just so you understand, if one limb gets cut during this whole day out of this removal, but everybody got an enormous amount of things out of it, then it's a win. So don't look at this as I have to get paid for today. It's not. It's a hard training to do.
Yeah, if you go really into that mindset as an owner operator, just don't do it.
Yeah,
just don't.
Just realize you're not making anything today. Okay. You're investing in those.
That's right.
Your employees' future, right? If they stay around, right? So,
and it'll come back usually as a safer worker, a more knowledgeable worker, a more skilled worker.
Yeah,
and a more, quite honestly, a more hopefully cared for worker. Right. Yeah. So they're going to feel like, hey, you know what? They were willing to shut down production so that I could learn something.
Yeah.
And be safe.
And I think for the employee, that helps, I think have more respect for the employer.
Yeah.
When they're willing to do that, and invest time in you. So, yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like I'm just going to do my little cursory, we got your origin story. Talked about that. Your dad talked about that. Kids, how they changed. Yeah, that was awesome. your guided trip. I had that written down because
nice.
I wanted to make sure that we got that. You know, that's a big thing. Like so much of what we do is our work, and those of us that do it and are this committed, it's like you mentioned vacations. Like I have to not force myself. Like I can always tell when I'm ready to step away, but it's hard to get off the wheel.
Yeah.
Like this is what I do where like to the point where sometimes I don't even like, you know, I'll get an invitation to do something somewhere. And it's like, if it involves a big crowd or it involves like me, but I'm just like, man, you know, I'd just rather be home in front of my fire, sipping a hot cup of coffee. You know what I mean? Just kind of chilling. Cause then I'm going to go out and do my work. And so, yeah. I feel like we covered everything, man. The comp scene. I mean, there's always more. The only thing we didn't really say, we kind of glossed around it, was like the volunteer part. Like now you've moved from comp. We do hit on this quite a bit, but I think it's always pertinent, and I feel like it's a good drum to beat on is, you know, why do we volunteer? Why do we give our time to invest in going to the comp, to judge at a comp, to participate, to help set up, to contribute to your local chapter? Why? First of all, on a personal level, like why is that important to you? But why would you encourage someone else to do that?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's always been important for me. Just like if I win or if I compete, who set that all up? Right? The volunteers did.
Wow.
They've been doing that forever.
Yeah.
Right. So if for some reason you capitalize on these competitions, right, in one form or another, there's a reason for that. Because other people have volunteered their time, and now you're at where you're at because of these comps. So I know Glenn and me and Tatey, like for our Pendel thing is, if you're not going to compete, you're going to help, right? That's fine. You don't want to compete, but please rethink about just walking away from it.
Yep.
You know, so our kind of rule is, if you're done competing, you need to help.
Yeah.
You know, so
good for you. That's a good.
I love that. I didn't know that.
It's a great message.
I love it. Yeah. I think it's you know what I mean. I would like to think that it's not even hard for people to grasp that either. Meaning, like, yeah, of course I'll volunteer. Maybe there's probably a couple people like I'm not, but I'm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't know why they wouldn't, unless they're just so sick of it, you know, or they're just not into it anymore.
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe they got some other time things going on in their life. I have no, you know, I'm not going to sit there and judge. But please, you know what I mean? Like, you see what it takes in order to set these up. Yeah. So you can do what you did.
Yeah.
Well, we still need that help. Yeah. You know what I mean? We still need it. So, and overall, you know, and I'm not nearly as involved in it anymore, but I used to do volunteer firefighter, you know, and that came about with my fall. And I was just like, man, the way they were transporting me and trying to get me into the helicopter and everything, like if I had like a really a bad spine injury or something, I would have been worse on the way I was being, you know, packaged and put into the helicopter. I was, you know, probably I'm 6'2" now. I'm pretty sure I was 6'3" back then. I mean, as you get older, just wrinkle a little bit. So like even just get me into the helicopter was like jamming me in. I'm like if I literally had an injury, I'm pretty sure. Like if I had a bad ear, like I only broke my little wrist. That's a long story, but learned that was like like a pinnacle thing in my life of what the hell happened, man. So like once all that was going on, and I was like, okay, maybe I can go help at the firehouse, you know, and maybe share some knowledge and be able to help this organization out, you know, and maybe I might have been able to help a little bit, but it's kind of like one of those things, like you just have to get in and find out. They've actually helped me a little bit more than I think that I've helped them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I got tons of certifications that I can carry throughout the United States.
That's amazing.
You know, vehicle rescue technician, firefighter 1, confined space, rope rescue. Like there's a lot there, right? So I can take that anywhere. Like to me,
Yep.
you've helped me out.
Yeah,
like
the value.
Yeah, the value.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
It's amazing. And that happens a lot. Like you go somewhere again, like I remember doing a mission trip. I've shared this story before. I don't know if it was on here, but like, I'm doing a thing with my church and it's like a youth program and we're going to minister to these kids and I got ministered to.
Yeah, right.
I'm like,
you get a
I'm
lot
going to
out of
go
it, man.
down there and I'm going to help these children. I just like was overwhelmed by the kids.
Yeah.
Like just what?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
Yeah.
So just, just overall, and I've volunteered at, Jersey and, the whole duel of the Delaware, which I don't know. I keep bringing it up, but it sounds like, wait, we're doing it? And I was like, Joe, I'm pretty sure I talked to Bert and he's like, you guys are going to be doing it in 2026. Like you're going to focus on it. So push that. Cause that duel in the Delaware is just, it's amazing, man.
Second
like,
level.
I absolutely love that whole it needs to be worked out a little bit,
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But that whole concept there, I think is more of what tree work is.
Yes.
I agree.
So I
mean,
hope
we
you
work
guys,
in teams.
Yeah.
That's what we do. You know what I mean?
I love that. So
problem solving.
Yeah, I would even say I think it's fair to say it is the next evolution of competition scenes.
I think so, man.
Yeah,
like
really,
when that first came out, I was like, I think this is
really
the deal here, man. You
Yeah.
know?
And from my understanding, Bert Kuhn. So I did Jambo once in 2017. So Bert Kuhn he did 2018, I believe.
Okay.
And he fell in love with it and talked to Nick Bonner, who I guess still does work with tree stuff. Mm-hmm. And pretty much said, like, I love this concept. Why are we not doing it anymore? Can I use the template? And Nick Bonner's whole thing is like, that's what I want you to do. I want you to take it and create this thing.
Yeah.
So Bert went to the board and created this whole, spiel of like, hey, we should do this.
Yeah.
Because of what you said, that it has what is tree work really like? Is it an individual that's doing something, or is it the ground person? Is it the person chipping? Is it the person that's rigging? And there's all of that involved in this contest. You know what I mean? And that's more mimics what's happening in tree work.
Yeah.
So
I don't
No,
know.
yeah.
It's just for the listeners that we're talking about like the duel on the Delaware. So what has happened is Bert Kuhn and some others in our chapter created an event where it's, what would you say? It's multidisciplinary, right? So you're doing rigging scenarios,
climbing,
rigging. There's a work climb, but it's like multiple flags and you have multiple climbers in the tree. So the teams, the climbers and the participants work in teams.
Yes.
So
and strategizing, like, it's not just run up and get this bell or something.
No,
like, why are you getting this bell? There's point values, but if you do this or this or this or that, and it's just like regular
chess
work
and trees.
Yeah.
But the concept is, and what was cool was it originally started out with the duel on the Delaware because it was Pendle versus New Jersey, and the Delaware River separates us. Mm-hmm. And then I think the last time they invited New York, Mac, Jersey,
and Ohio.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was Ohio.
So we had just the whole
questionable about Ohio because that doesn't really touch the
right. Exactly. Exactly. It's like by extension.
I did chase New York or the Delaware up into New York.
Oh, yeah.
So they have these little side branches. I checked.
Okay. Well,
it does run up there.
I've paddled the Delaware up where. Like, I think it's Port Jervis or...
Yeah, Port Jervis, man.
Like,
kind of like right at New York where it splits off. Yeah, absolutely, man.
So,
but
cool
It's
concept.
a testament to the growth of the idea of... So the way I look at it, the romantic part is New Jersey Pendle, the Brotherhood chapter, right? Yes. It created from that, but now it's like, it's so cool to have inter-chapters be a part of something.
Yeah.
Because... what's the best way to really like get the people together to do something? And the competition is that.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And the after party was just like the barbecue.
No, it's awesome. It's a great time, man.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Everybody's,
Even
whether you
like,
choose to bring your family or not, it's a whole different story.
Booting it up and having some good food and amazing.
So
amazing. And it's funny. That's one of those things like I volunteered or whatever. But it just didn't, there was so much going on and so much preliminary work. You feel like it's a drop in the bucket. Like you're there doing this little tiny piece and like this giant event happens. Yeah. The amount of energy and effort it takes to construct and pull something like that off and, get the park that'll allow you to do it. And like, there's just so much there, man.
But if you think about like how many people it takes to make that happen. It's
that's
insane.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's
which goes back to your point. We need volunteers.
Yeah,
Every chapter
Have to,
needs
man.
volunteers.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think it's fair to say that you'll never have enough.
Yeah, there's
I
no
would
way
agree.
you'll have too much. It's
there
not
you
gonna.
go.
No.
Okay, so let's just put it that way. So don't think that people have enough.
Yeah.
Just show
No.
up and help.
Just show up. They will put you to work, man.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And then that creates the perfect environment for people to compete in.
Yeah.
You know, so I actually want to do one thing. You bring up the fall. I do think people like train wrecks, right? That's what they like to see here. They want to, but if it's cool to share that story, because I'm sure listeners are also thinking like, well, what happened? And I don't know if what happened can translate into at least somebody thinking about something before they do it.
Yeah. That was an integral part of what do I do with myself in this career, right? I've had some injuries.
Sure.
But taking a fall,
Yeah.
I think it's an eye opener, man. Of number one, like I'm still alive, right?
Yeah.
I got really freaking lucky. Like I'm not gonna lie to you on that. It was 38 feet. Landed on my feet. I don't know how. Had spikes on, blah blah blah. But it was one of those things where like it was at my own house. So it was like Arbor Day at Rob's house. I just bought the house, a whole bunch of trees, like literally they were in the driveway. I just wanted to open it up. I barely have any grass on 11 acres that I have. Like if I see a piece of grass, I'm killing it and I'm going to put a shrub there or something. You know what I mean? I hate grass. So just get that. I can't stand grass. Especially when it comes to jobs. Grass is easier to fix than having a guy stand up there and buck down all this wood. I'd rather smash your lawn and put some topsoil in later. It's way cheaper for you. It's way better for me. Right. Anyway. So last tree, last cut, all I had to do was put a sling on and just make the flush cut. And we were done. I had some friends over, some family. Loaning guys were, saying, oh yeah, you need a crane here. I'll let you have this crane. I was getting an operator. So like, wow. it was an awesome, it was Arbor Day at Rob's house. Right. Yeah. So literally last thing, last cut, last set, last this. God, and then it was just a matter of, okay, we get this one cut and now we're all going to, have a good time. We're going to, party. We're going to do all that. So I go to switch over to this one. It was a double leader. I had a sling around the tree. I had a carabiner in there, brand new carabiner. I just bought it at the symposium in February. So I clipped my rope in there, right? Done it many, many times. That was my false crotch, right? Clip my rope in there, come over to it, and just, I guess, drop into my system or just sit into it without doing like a quick check. Yeah. Right? Okay. Even like a 10-second, tighten it, ease into the system. You know what I mean? Kind of like what we know today to be a safe practice, right? I just kind of dropped into it and then I heard a second click. And then after that second click, then the ground was coming at me really quick, right? So I was like, I'm a climber. Why is the ground coming up at me? Whoop, boom, and then I hit. So then I figured out it came through like one of those UHF antennas that were sticking out. It could have been impaled on that. Like it came down and scraped my face, came down, hit the ground. There was another rock wall here with, another... 10, 12 feet of drop. There was like a fence here. There was a stone walkway here, like, everything. And I landed like right in this spot that was nice and soft, So I hit that, compressed, went backwards. And when I went backwards, that's when I braced myself. It was the only thing. Like there's 3 bones in your wrist, right? And I just broke my center bone. That's it. Yeah, it was just like... It was just crazy. The spikes went into my feet, but that wasn't that big of a deal. So as soon as I hit, like it was just all like crazy to me. So I was like, wow, this is not cool. I should not be looking up. I should be looking down. You know? Yeah. So kind of like, I fell, scooted myself up against a tree, just did like a mental check. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm still here. I can see things. I'm still breathing. I think I'm still here. And then I started like moving my legs, my feet, my hands. I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm still alive. nothing doesn't seem like anything really crazy's happened. I just look up and just see the UHF antenna all bent, and I see the height of the tree and blah, blah, blah. And then as I'm laying there, I'm thinking, okay, I'm alive. I'm pretty sure. Then I started kind of going into that shock mode.
Yeah.
So then I look over, and as I look over, and there's a window here, I see both my kids looking out the window.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, fuck. And I was just like, okay, I just need to chill out now, and I just kind of sat myself back in the tree, leaned up against the tree. And then I never passed out. I just started seeing like silhouettes. I couldn't see anybody's face per se. Just silhouettes. And then I was just like, okay, I need to stop. I just need to chill. And that's when, everything started happening, and then ambulance came and all that, and fire department. And so after I get back from the hospital, it's a whole nother weird story. They didn't even cast me up at the time, right? So I had to go to another place to get a cast on my wrist. And I was like, my shit hurts. And they're like, well, we don't really see any reason. Wow, it's a long story.
Yeah.
Wow.
So my next door neighbor was a pediatric surgeon. This is how I met him.
Wow.
Right?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Howdy, neighbor.
Yeah.
Hey,
Busted
neighbor,
up.
how's it going?
It's a long story. There was a
Yeah,
farmer
yeah.
down the street. When I first moved to this house, they were really cool. I actually offered to do some tree work for them if I could just take a bunch of business cards and put it in their feed and seed place, just, whatever. Yeah. He's like, are you sure you want to do that? So long story. So when he heard about it, he's like, look, you call Jim. He's right next to you. And I was like, right next to me? That's 80 acres over. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of woods around.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place. So he's like, you call Jim and you tell him that Peanut said that, you're okay and you need some help. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I called him up and I was like, yeah. And he's like, come on down. So I went down and gave me an x-ray. He's like, yeah, I think I see a little bit. We'll just put a cast on there. And I was like, all right, cool. So I go to pay him, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to pay you for your services. And he goes, no, we don't do that around here. And that was just like mind blowing to me, because I was like, that was like speaking Mandarin, because I didn't even understand. What do you mean? Like, you're just going to be nice because we're neighbors? Like, I don't know. I didn't trust it.
Yeah, you're thinking,
there's
payment coming.
Yeah. But he did the same thing with my daughter.
Yeah.
Right? My daughter and I were sledding down into the woods, and of course, kept pushing it. And then we crashed, and she had to get a cast on her ankle, growth plate, whatever. She was young enough; she got over it. So, but he did the same thing. I was like, Jim, we got to stop meeting this way. You know what I mean? Like this was already 2 casts, whatever. So after I get home, I had to figure out.
Yeah.
Why that second click, right? What the heck was going on, right? So literally with my cast on, my son was out there. I'm like, what are you doing, Dad? I'm like, I'm going to go climb that tree and figure out what just happened. So he's like, okay. And he was like, I don't know, 8 maybe or whatever at the time. So I was like, no, this is what we got to do. So I put my spikes back on, put my harness back on. And it was only like a week after, not even a week. And I was like, I got to get back up here, man. So I literally went to the top of this tree, put that sling on, and I just sat there, and I was like, something really bad happened here. I don't know what it is, man. So I put the rope in, and I'm playing with it, and couldn't figure it out, right? I was like, shit, man, I can't figure it out. So I came down. The son and I were sitting there, and I just kept messing with it, and then all of a sudden, that rope laid up against that gate, and then and unclicked. It came right out. And I was like, that's what happened, man.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. So interface with gear.
So just so I understand too, and the listener. So you're tied in at this point, right?
Yep.
And then you're putting it.
The carabiner is girth hitched.
Girth hitch,
on the nylon sling.
Yeah.
The gate is the opening of the gate is down and not up.
Okay.
So because the opening of the gate is down, that allows. If I put the rope on top, it allows to pull down and twist the gate at the same time.
Okay.
Nuts.
So I laid that on and I just started messing with it. And I just laid it on there and then went, and it just, I heard that second click.
No way, dude.
And then out you go. So, and I put it on Tree Buzz instantly. I was like, I just figured out why I fell. I had no problems with it. I'm not embarrassed. I mean, what happened,
absolutely.
I needed to share this in order to try to have somebody else avoid that as well. Right?
Absolutely.
So I put it out there, and I was like, I just thought it was a once in a million chance, and Norm Hall, before he had passed, this, obviously years ago on Tree Buzz.
Yep.
He was like, I'd hate to say it, man, but it's not as rare as you think, and it's 100% pilot error. And I was like, he's 100% right.
Yeah.
It was pilot error, right? I can't blame the carabiner.
Sure.
No.
If I just took the carabiner and reversed it, so the opening of the gate was up, it's not easy to, but I went with what I know and how easy it is to just hold that carabiner, throw my
slap
loop
it in.
Yeah.
Yep.
So after that, it was such an eye-opener of like interface with gear.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. It'll come to Tim Bushnell. Right? I always try to, like, during comp time, I'm always like getting a hold of him. What do you think about this? What do you think about that?
Yeah.
And he was always like stringent with me about interface, right? All your gear. Like, you got to know, like, yes, this might work over here, but put it over here and it's just not going to work.
Wow.
Right? This carabiner is great here, but this carabiner is not good here. So it's interface of everything, and he drilled this into me. And then other things, started happening throughout, time, and just like literally like watching people die, and you're like, what the is going on, man? Yeah. So like, during the trainings and all that stuff, it's just a huge eye opener on, what you asked too, at the work days, like, how can we improve our industry,
And that's what, I'm glad you brought it right there, because that's why, like, the listeners, for a weird way of saying it, they want to hear the stories, but what I want is the solution to the story.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So you gave the solution, interface.
Yeah.
And you might, another time, but the idea is like, just understand that, you said it perfectly. It works here, but 3 feet over on this side of a tree, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Or a different tree, whatever it is.
So the idea is just understand that there's a dynamic situation happening with the gear that you have. So where you use it and where you put it changes, which goes back to what you're saying is the common conversation is, what is the ultimate thing that we would like to have to make the industry safer? And it's the answer that changes every time.
Yeah. Because there's a lot to it.
I know.
Yeah.
There's
a lot
of variables
to it, man.
It's deep.
But yeah, I appreciate you sharing the story.
Absolutely.
But like I said, I just felt like that's a good way to just, kind of bring this to an end, but also, because we talk about a lot of things, but also like simple stuff too, to drive home, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, when things go wrong is where we learn stuff too.
Yeah.
And when it goes right, there really is no...
You have to. I know you've got to touch on this, man. You got to make mistakes, man.
Absolutely.
Like, if you don't learn from a mistake, what are you doing, man? Mistakes will happen.
Yeah.
You're going to have to learn from it.
Yeah. Exactly. So, but yeah, I appreciate it.
It's amazing to me, the level of folks that we've had on here. And, we think about Rob, Glenn, Athena, just people that have had issues. And, we've had our own issues. And it's just, and I've hit on that before, like it's an odd thing having your kid, send your child out, into an industry like this. It hits home. And that's why I say, we had a kid, it didn't happen here, but one of the fatalities of someone that we knew, and then we had a local guy, Cameron Lyon. Some people listening may know Cameron,
a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, it's been 10 years now.
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. Yeah.
No,
you're good.
COVID thing,
yeah.
The whole COVID thing.
But I know Rochi was like instrumental in like getting him trained up and different things. They had a good relationship. But like getting that news and like who was the other guy I didn't know, but Pete Donzelli, like he was like that big trainer,
which was
PhD,
crazy.
like
crazy.
All of a sudden it's like, oh, he died, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And this community, as tight knit as we are, like I never want to get that news from like when I think about my circle and our circle that we have, like. Unacceptable.
Yeah, but it should be unacceptable. But and I know we got to wrap up, but like we're still number one at killing ourselves,
Yes,
man.
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
You know, I think people have to understand that. I hate to throw these numbers out there, but
Do it.
you know, a lot of times when we have trainings, it's 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and it's like every 2.5 days we die. You know, so at the end of this training, and I really try to make that really clear to everybody, at the end of this training, somebody is dead because of what we do.
Insane.
Right? It's our mistakes, our whatever it is. So, like, we've been like that for decades.
It hasn't changed.
I think there was one time that we switched to second, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh no, you know, we're competitive. We can't be having that shit. We need to be number one again.
Yeah.
And now we're killing ourselves again. We had another climber right before Thanksgiving, fell out of a tree. Like he was tied into a weird junction into a tree on a neighboring tree doing a crane job. I just worked with him Monday. I get the news Tuesday.
No way.
I mean, he's alive, but he's all banged up, man.
Yeah.
And it's like we just talked on Monday, you know, and then he fell. And then I found out on the West Coast, some professor, kind of a weird dude, but he just fell. I mean, it's just like, it doesn't matter whether it's in your backyard or whatever. It's like,
no, it doesn't.
you know what I mean? I mean, it hits harder.
It's different.
You know, when it's close to you.
Yeah, sure.
But it's different. It's a brotherhood, and I'm including the women in that, by the way, just for semantics, brotherhood, but the ladies as well.
But people
so
just
no
gotta
matter,
calm down, man. Like we're still killing ourselves.
Yeah.
Like we're not as badass as you think. Like
Yeah.
when we talk about improving our industry,
Yeah.
how about we stop killing ourselves?
Yeah,
that might
it's
help a little
so
bit.
that's a huge thing
You
for
know?
me, and it's a huge thing here on this
You
podcast.
said it perfectly.
So I love that
you
you're.
want to be badass? Stop killing yourself.
Let's start with that. I'm gonna work on it.
Yeah, no, I
know
agree.
it's crazy.
It is. It's really crazy. So
I agree, and I appreciate the candor that you bring to that. You know, the direct nature of that, and I think people need to hear it. We just need to do better, man. We just need to do better. And this has been a thing for me recently, but for a long while. But it's like something we need to explore, and perhaps an episode can be dedicated to it, or a subsequent conversation about what does that look like.
yeah, I think that'd be great.
How
dude.
do we do better?
That would be great.
How do we bring practical application, to that? What are some of the things we do? We talk about work practice, but are we doing like that whole interface thing? Like, when was the last time anybody sat and played with gear like that, or like took the time are you doing your gear inspection? Are you just setting a line in a tree? Are you taking binoculars? Are you looking at branch unions?
Yeah.
We had a lead fail in a tree that we had been working on a while. And it was a hidden defect. Now, no one would have been yanking on this. It was a very poorly angled branch, but I had no idea it was 20 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
Binoculars probably wouldn't have shown it, but it tore, and I looked inside and I'm like, there's brown rot in there. It had roots and stuff growing. The type of union I'm
brown
talking
rot,
about.
yeah.
Well, what if that thing's above and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to set a line there, and you're on that harmonic bounce, and that thing's bouncing, and all of a sudden we just need to do a better job of turning over the stones to look at the things that, and it's usually never one thing, right? There's many times along a job where we could get hurt.
Yeah.
And so we can't just rush in.
Right.
All the things that we repeat, it's those things that we gloss over. Okay, like even at the comp. Okay, call 911, I'm checking her, there's no electrical hazards. Let me get in the tree.
Yeah.
Right. Now I know it's a comp, and I know that's a thing, but are we doing that on a job site? Yeah. I was pleased that we've, there's been years we did the work there, we didn't do a JSA. I'm like, what are we doing? Like,
I get it, and it's not.
Why are we not stopping? So
it's
I was
a great
happy.
idea, but it's not mandatory.
Yeah, I was happy we did it. I was
Yeah.
happy, and Mason's been like, "Hey, can we?" I'm like, "Yes, we can."
Yeah.
I'm gonna print them off. You want to do them when you're there, and I'm not there. Do them.
It's a great practice, man.
Do them.
Right. And according to OSHA, ANSI, like any company under 10, it's not necessary, But is it a good idea? Yeah, it'd be a great idea, man. Get used to it. Yeah. So
anyway,
and I think overall, just everybody's just got to relax, man.
Yeah.
Like, you're not as badass as you think, man. Stop posting all this crap, but you get them out into the field, and all of a sudden you're like dude, you're a mess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now we can see why people are getting hurt or this or that, and just I don't know.
Yep.
There's a lot to it, but so that'd be a great discussion if you
Absolutely
brought that up at some
Yeah,
point.
we got to figure out
definitely.
how to have that happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Cool.
So
I think.
are we good?
I think so. Are we good?
You gonna land the plane?
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah.
I love it.
Listen, man, I'll kick it over to Brick as usual when I'm done. But thank you so much, man.
been
Really
a pleasure,
appreciate.
man.
And again, like it deepens those relationships,
Yeah,
which
for sure.
we're all about anyway. Which is really the genesis of this whole. So thanks for coming down, for taking the ride down. I wish you, man, like happy time with your family coming up for the holidays. You know, safety and prosperity in the new year, man, and you know, keep beating that drum about, you know, just being safe and doing a better job. I love that. And I love your heart in that. So thanks for saying what you said and being willing to just put it out there in an unfiltered way. I think it's important. So appreciate it.
Yeah.
You nailed it. I mean, you know, I said we started off. I told you what I think about you. The listeners got to get that insight from listening to this for sure. But yeah, man, just keep doing what you do. It's an inspiration for me.
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah, so thank you for coming.
And
here.
it helps me. Like it keeps me honest.
Yeah.
I'll
It's
tell you that right now. Like
Yeah.
doing trainings and doing whatever else, it keeps me honest.
Yeah,
too.
good.
Really
Good.
helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
Cool.
I love it.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
All
Love
right,
what you
Joe.
guys are doing. So yeah, been really, really fun, man. Just
Appreciate
keep it up.
it.
Keep it up.
Cool beans.
You got it.
All right, y'all. Over and out.